The one time I had an outing, right, and I said, okay, the sergeant major's coming out here, right? So you can drink if you want, just keep it in your fucking.
Yeah, you're live, and it's not PG-13, so it's all you guys. You are live.
I'm out of there.
Yeah,
What do you mean you're out of here?
Good idea.
I'll be there in a sec.
Okay.
Don't threaten us with a good time.
Yeah.
So it's an open forum.
Yeah.
What you say is up to you. It's live, so remember that. There's no editing that. So once you drop your drawers, that's that, gentlemen.
It's on there.
If you need anything, holler, because I can hear you. And it's a walk in and out. It's not a raise your hand or whatever like that. It's a kind of a live forum. It's going to go for a while, however long. So
Is this being like taped, like in video?
this is being taped in video. I'm recording it, and YouTube is recording it.
Okay.
We're also streaming it live, and there's a capture, which is what you're asking, but we're streaming it live.
Okay.
So rather than like the interviews today, which will be edited, doctored, fixed,
Yeah.
remove parts, and then perfected, you will examine before we release. What you say is what you got, man.
That's the only way I roll anyway.
I love you already.
Are you gonna put a laptop on the table?
Not this time.
Not this time.
Oh, we're gonna bring in Mike's iPod or iPad, and he will kind of, because it's the rude awakening.
okay.
So he's gonna. People can now text in and talk to you guys,
Right.
right? So they can say, Brangie, fuck, you owe me $40, and then you either
Oh,
Jock
Jesus.
or
I know people that
borrow from Steve.
Me too.
Look, there's two guys I've been after.
Alright,
One I was
just
60 and one I was 42. And I haven't been able to find them. No lie, I put the word out. Because I'll give you more. We drifted, and it's like,
They know your vase right now.
In 90, $60 was a fucking tidy sum. It was, because it was a drunk and an eighth, I think.
Now it's cantaloupe.
Yeah, well.
Fuck off.
It's not even a bag of groceries.
So like I said, gentlemen, feel free. It runs as long
Who's
as you
gonna
want.
recognize you?
So I'm just gonna sit out here in the open? Is that what you're saying?
I would
Well, you
prefer
want
if
to stay,
sat
no, you want
in
to
the
stay, you want
closet.
to kind of stay
In the
frame.
corner. Get in the
Came
corner.
from
Remember where you put
anyway.
the chairs? In the frame, right? So people can see it. That's your camera.
That's why I
Up here,
Right?
there.
I'll tell you if you're, I'll tell you if you're blocking this.
Okay, which is my big pumpkin, I'm guessing I am.
Well, fuck. The lights off that Yeah. dome. We're gonna.
Oh,
I shine get my out the- shades off of that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let me get you sunglasses.
Nope, that's
Hey,
good.
hold on. We're good.
That's
You're
good.
good? Golden.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
I have an idea, Mike. Stand up for me.
You put the carpet on his head?
Yeah.
It's not gonna make him any taller.
Hey,
That's
come on,
for
man.
sure.
Put the carpet on there, and then you won't roll around so easy because you're a fidgety fucker. I don't know if anyone's
Yeah.
noticed.
Yep.
Love you.
You're also jittery. You're making me fucking nervous, man.
Right. All right, gentlemen.
That's it.
Hey, you want to tie my hands to the chair?
Yes.
I said keep the handcuffs put away.
Who's got the field telephone?
Yeah,
Who's got the field telephone?
He'll just be dragging that chair around by his handcuff.
yeah. Yeah. Come back, come back. Yeah, fuck you guys. You're mean to me.
Try to get through the door. Clink, clink.
So, Mikey, you should grab your iPad.
My,
So and log into your account so people can text and say, hi, Mike.
well, here I'll just do it on my phone.
Phone's
My
perfect.
iPad's got
Okay, then
phone.
put your aspect into
So, but what are we going on? Like what?
the link.
Oh,
Oh,
off
give
the
me your
link,
phone
so
once
if
you
I
get to open YouTube.
Well, I'll just open the link that you gave me there. So there.
Right, but you got to log in to be able to text.
Yeah, actually, we
And
were
I don't know
doing
how
our,
this shit works, so I don't know how to
breaking
log in
myself
on this
for
fucking
talking.
thing, my friend.
I got a phone call.
Are you
And
logged
the
into
fucking
this?
hearing
No.
aids connect. So
No.
I shared 18
No, I
fucking
don't think
things in
so.
my
Hold
ear.
on. Rude Awakening
And
live
then for
stream.
some reason it connected, so all I hear is hello, hello.
This is your live.
Right
Off-
into my
There you
phone
go.
is in the
Okay, let
fucking
me grab my
thing.
glasses, and then I'll be good.
I was like,
You
oh
have your own?
fuck, this
Yeah,
is
yeah, I got
awkward.
Okay, good, because if I'm going around here with a
You're gonna
wire-
button the press to turn it off, do you?
Yeah, I thought I pressed it.
Oh.
So I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah, you gotta turn off my phone, and he doesn't know because he can't hear what it's going through my fucking ears, right? So he's
Hang
like,
up on me.
yeah, I was like, somebody gotta turn my phone off.
Yeah, mine's off.
Yeah, fuck.
I
Lessons
hate the
learned,
fucking
man.
thing anyway.
You guys
Yeah.
turn your phones off?
Yep, mine's off this time.
That should be the opening sound right there. That's our own sound bit.
Can we adjust the lighting? Oh, I guess because this side is a bit dark. You,
Thanks for exposing my mistake. No, I can't do that now, but it's live so everyone knows. Thanks, Mike.
okay, thank you.
Why, I had you proof it in here there, buddy.
Well, where's the clipboard? Sum up.
Things like that might be here, yeah.
Okay, we're missing the point here, guys. You're here to help, not to distract me.
I'm out.
You're out? Okay, well, we're just down to me now. They don't want to be here. On that note, I'll have great. So,
You hear the delay on it. I can hear him talking.
yeah.
Mute your phone, Mike. You don't need to hear it. You just need to read it.
Yeah, you need to read it.
Hey, you said you were gonna stop talking, but you're still going off on here. What's going on?
That has nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. We can introduce ourselves now? Maybe might be an idea.
Sure.
Start at the far side.
Hi, I'm Gerard Moores, 1st Battalion, 2nd Commando, Canadian Airborne Regiment, 1 Canadian HQ and Airborne Regiment, HQ in SEGS.
Yeah.
28 years.
Nice.
I'm Cameron Tetro. I served in 3PPC Alive for
Hooah.
2001, 2010. Roger. Am now the co-founder of Pro Pasture Coffee, and I run a ranch.
Coffee.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm Devin Berengi. I was 3VP as well, 3PCLI, 2004 till 2013. Then I spent 8 years at 39 Brigade headquarters here in Vancouver.
Nice.
Nice.
And along with Paul, right? Working with
yeah,
Paul.
working
a
with
bit,
Paul,
yeah.
under Paul. Yeah.
I'm Steve, 3PPCLI.
I'll speak up.
3 PBCLI, Steve.
Hoorah!
Yeah.
And I haven't seen you now for about 4 years because you took me out fishing. You and Devin took me out fishing, eh?
That's true.
Yeah. I even caught something,
Yeah, you
which
did.
is kind of amazing.
Everybody catches something when
Yeah,
you go
'cause
fishing
you,
with me.
Yeah.
Not with me.
I don't know how many. Yeah, that's. I think I heard that too, right? Because then you guys went out another time, didn't get anything.
We didn't go.
Hmm?
He went by himself and got
Oh,
that.
okay. Got zeros.
Yeah, there's lots of fishing stories that are
Just-
failures on my part.
Yeah. There was this time that I went out and we caught nothing. Oh, there was another time too, but at another time.
That had nothing to do with fucking me, I can tell you.
Actually, I wasn't there for that one. I was there the next day where you got stuff.
Yeah.
Are you busting my balls right now?
No.
think it is you.
No. That's where we're at. So, well, 4 of us were all on the same tour, right?
Roger.
Yep.
And so we left in February, right? Somewhere thereabouts.
Yep.
And then Gerard came in with the 1st Battalion.
Yeah.
And then they were there.
Came in with
For us,
the
after
company
us.
just after you guys turned around and departed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
You had a company 2VP with you too, right?
What's it?
You had a company at 2VP that was doing the PRT.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Right. They're
Yeah.
the ones that
PRT.
replaced us.
Yeah, up on Highway 1.
Yeah. We'll say that if anybody wants to ask a question, they can write it out on the chat. Besides, can you adjust the lighting? Because we can't adjust it apparently. But so go ahead with any questions if you have any, and we'll just continue our banter until we get a question. But yeah, so like we were all, you were in headquarters, right, with 9er TAC.
That's correct.
And
I was
we
4 platoon.
4 platoon.
You guys were 5.
We were 5. Yeah. The Rockstar platoon. Let's face it, right?
I don't know. I think they had the most missions.
Oh yeah, 9er
Fuck,
TAC.
man.
They were
Your
everywhere.
colonel wanted to go everywhere.
He did. He did. Absolutely did.
Yeah.
And, yep, that's why people are questioning if we were the QRF or the QRF.
Yeah, why are you here? This is dangerous. You should not be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking true story there, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. QRF showed
Although,
up and then Bozeman's
you know-
rolling in. What the?
Yeah. Although in our platoon we like to go, or in our section, I tried to go everywhere. Any new places or anything like that. right?
Everybody tried.
Yeah,
to go
everybody's like that, right? It was like, no, we want to go to that area, right?
Wow.
But
Nobody wanted to sit in camp.
no,
not
except
the
the people
point.
that didn't want to leave the gate.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not the point of being there.
Yeah.
Was that your staging area, guys? Mostly as out of Kandahar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kandahar
Nathan
Airfield.
Camp
Smith.
Nathan Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Then
kinda-
going to like Spin Boldak, to
Helmand
into
Province.
Helmand Province.
Up the Dagger.
Pashwa.
Yeah,
It's like we,
Yeah.
to
we
the
do all,
dam to.
I think we spent, like my section, we went out with our engineers and that, and we're like, I'm sure we all did it with different missions, but we're checking all the bridges and stuff to make sure we can handle labs and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the PRT, what it kind of turned, we didn't have it, but the perception was like you're handing out teddy bears and radios and trying to win hearts and minds.
I remember the
But-
soccer balls. Those were
but-
fucking kick ass.
But 90% of our patrols were doing recce. They're doing like area recce's, point recce's, and all that kind of stuff, just to set up for you guys.
Oh yeah.
Like setting
There's a
up.
lot of psyops.
Yeah.
Shit
Oh
there.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's going on.
Well, they already knew something was on the brew.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were just kind of getting everything prepared. And you guys did
Yeah.
the groundwork, a lot of groundwork before we came
like
in,
all
right?
a lot of the fobs,
Yeah.
like Bob Wilson, all that ended up happening. We were there checking them out, make sure that they could be suitable for fobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah.
Even though there was some weird picks, though. That one
Oh,
in the
yeah.
valley up to the north.
Not our decisions.
Oh, no, that was
That's well above the pay grade.
But A Company was not fucking happy with what they had. Okay, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. So we have a question. Just so there are many veterans with mefloquine poisoning symptoms. Does anyone else have documentation on their med docs? Does anybody have a documentation to saying that say mefloquine caused this problem, or that you have this problem because of mefloquine?
No. There would,
I
there
would think those are hard to gather and hard to find. Like, if you go through the either military process or whether civilian doctor
Yeah.
like, it's hard to track it down. Which
Civilians probably aren't going to even look
they
at that
don't
at all.
know.
Yeah, not on our
Yeah,
side.
But
yeah.
and I also haven't. I don't know if you guys, when you see a doctor, but I have never asked that question. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that's not quite when I first was known. I was actually talking about Mike about how I actually recognized it was we were in Ottawa, and I actually saw it in the back of his truck, and I was like, "Holy fuck! I have that! I have that! I have that! I have that!" I was like, "What the fuck?" Right?
I
Yeah.
did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
there was not so much of awareness to anything.
No.
but to kind of
I mean-
circle back to that question, there is since we've been out for so long, everything's at Iron Mountain. So you have to do all these documented requests for your med files and your psych files or whatever, and it might be in there. But for example, your psych files, at least mine, a lot of it was redacted as well, right? So
When it comes back to you.
yeah, when it
Yes.
comes back to me, like there's a lot of things that will be blacked out in it might be in there, it might not be in there, right? So the access might not be freely there as well.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
No.
But
Being
how
spec-
does it make sense that it's your documents and it's redacted?
It is redacted. Well, probably because when you get a mental health file put in front of you and it's about you, you probably don't want to hear a lot of the feedback that
Oh,
they're probably
yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about or writing about you, right?
I think
So-
that's an understatement.
Yeah.
You can only imagine what yours would be.
Well, you
Thanks,
also,
man.
you also got to understand that, you know, the battalions also strip files,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
right? And
But everything that goes in your main file, there's a shadow file that follows it,
it's
right? So there is two files. It should.
right.
Well, that's why I found some people's like CF98s that some go missing in your main file and you have to go fucking searching for it. And they're in your shadow file that was in Manitoba at the time.
Well, what that was kind of the semi-upsetting thing that, you know, don't get me wrong. Usually when theater starts, usually there's always like a pre-med tech or something like that to turn around and look at the environmental hazards and all that stuff. And between them and the MO, they turn around and come up with a sheet that says that, okay, Private Loggins was in this theater, he was susceptible to this, and this. But unfortunately, in a lot of theaters, that was never really specifically done to the environment that they were in. Prime example, Kosovo. That was like, I did Kosovo just after the air raid campaign. We're in a place that they were using a lot of depleted uranium. And there's times where it's like, say, it's like, there's no effect. Well, when you have a radiac meter on your chest and you're like 20 feet from a tank and the bloody thing starts going off,
Yeah.
there's an effect. Right?
Yeah.
But yet, none of that ever got put on files. Which one said that they did the CBN? You did. So you went down to Borden to do that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it funny that when they started talking about radiation, they started talking about Kosovo?
Yeah. Well,
You saw the PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
And then we're all looking at it, and we had buddies. It's like, we used to patrol through that fucking area.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
You probably had those on you.
we had the red tabs.
Yeah. But then in
But-
Afghanistan, did you have them in 06?
I didn't have no sex.
Remember we had
Yeah.
those cylinders
There's a
on?
little, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
And
So what happened to them after?
Yeah, someone collected
Where's the record?
oh, it's just gone. See,
Yeah, yeah.
Who
It's,
knows?
it's gone. It goes somewhere,
Yeah.
and there's nothing on your record,
No.
and there's no
That's a solid
record
point.
at your CBRN.
No.
There's no record of accumulation.
No.
Right?
There's somewhere we don't have.
There's somewhere, and we
Who
don't know
knows
where it is.
Or
Yeah, that's
access to get it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Bosnia was just as bad. There was like bauxite. They were doing patrol OPs and fucking like areas that had bauxite. Heavy metals in the ground from what they used to do is they used to dump transformers into the fucking earth to taint the soil.
Yeah.
Right? So half the shit that guys were filling sandbags with was with heavy metal.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, there's not as much overview as there should be to protect troops over the field.
But
Because-
yeah. And so when I was in Kabul, on the having the P-Med Tech and all that, the giving you stuff, like, we actually had a letter put in my first file in Kabul about the toxicity of the air because it was so bad up
The
there.
poo dust.
Yeah. Well, it was like they were burning so much. Like,
Okay.
I sat beside a mountain for 4 months. I didn't know it was there until like the last 2 weeks of tour because it was just so much like smog, like pollution
Okay.
there.
Well, that was the other
Where
thing
was
that
that
came
at,
up to a
Kabul?
point
Kabul,
because
yeah.
there was also, I think, was the Americans that were turning around trying to lay
Yeah.
a lawsuit in reference because of the open pit burning that they had to this. That will be the west of the Kandahar airfield where they were doing open burn of all the like pharmaceuticals and
Yeah.
biological and all that crap.
I shouldn't say I didn't know it was there. We knew it was there by the map. You just couldn't see the stupid thing, right?
Yeah.
But we had none of that in Kandahar, and we went back to Tarnak Farms,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're like,
We had a
they said,
firing range.
yeah, they're like, this area is not the greatest, but right?
Yeah.
Because they had,
Weren't you a range officer?
yeah, he was running
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Um,
Running the
Weren't you in charge of it all?
Let's not go there. Anyways, how about that bear?
Hey, we're
thing?
live. We can't bring it back.
Hey, come on, guys, we can't bring it back. Surely I'm going to grab a joint and I won't pay attention to you at all.
It was,
I mean, you weren't the only one. Let's be honest. We signed up, we had a job, we did it, but the ramifications of what we did, we had no idea of how it was happening and what was supposed to happen in between and what the effects of what we were doing were. And that's a very basic fucking simple thing for everybody to figure out.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. If you don't tell us, we don't know. And to be honest, what were we gonna say anyway? You say no, then what?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's the truth of the matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of upsetting to a certain degree because the responsibility of care, first and foremost, should be to your fucking soldiers who are supporting the sovereignty of your fucking country.
100%. And I'm not arguing that fact. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that if we don't know what the bigger picture is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then we can't make our own decisions on it. We're there to do a fucking job, and we did it.
Oh yeah.
And
we
we're
did.
still
And we did it
doing
well.
it all over the world. But if we don't know what the ramifications of that are, then how are we supposed to make an informed decision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody
As
wants to
individual.
have an informed decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, let's be honest. The Army's not an individual sport.
No. No, it isn't.
You might think at one point.
It's not like fucking tennis, I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah,
Come on, there's an eye in infantry.
yeah, yeah.
Well, there's an eye in tennis.
Yeah, don't stay there
I
very
never
long.
played.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite the time. And then you think, say some of the, instead of say on making decisions on, because say there was 3 drugs available for us to take Mefloquine, or to take for an anti-malaria,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you had Mefloquine, you had doxycycline, and you had Malarone, right? And only one of those was a weekly pill.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So you just think about that decision in
7
a
days a
team
week,
base. Yeah.
or-
Do you want to take it a few times, or do you want to do it every?
And on
Every
that,
day.
you don't know what you're going to be doing there because you don't know if you're going to have access to your kit to have every day grab a new pill.
Yeah, yeah.
Or bring
That's
it with
right.
you.
yeah, because you could be gone for
Or-
3-4 days maybe,
It was-
because
It was definitely
Shit
highly
went down.
What
encouraged.
happens
Yeah.
if it gets
Right.
wet or any of that other shit that goes on? I mean,
I think it was the post as well. Like when you came back, you had to do like a post medication to come off of it.
oh yeah, I
Right?
remember that.
And
now,
I think it was a
something.
difference between the two of them too. Like one you had to be on longer than I can't remember which was which, but
I don't
You just
remember
told me-
this. Please do inform me. What
we-
fucking thing you gotta take at the end of it?
you were supposed to take pills to come off. But
Shit, I didn't
Yeah,
fucking
see?
have it.
But-
Fucking pills.
well, you're on post-deployment leave.
Which-
Where the fuck are you supposed to get those? They never gave them to me.
I don't even remember. I think I was pretty much drunk the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
After.
Yeah,
I actually took
You
mine.
and
But
90%.
but
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't
But it
even
was
know
a
that.
choice between like it was different. The length of the post was different on either one because one was like 7 days a week and one was like for like instead of Mefloquine, one was like 7 days a week. I can't remember which one it was, but the post was as well as much.
yeah,
So you just took the one that was easiest to take,
yeah.
which was once a week, easier to remember. Throw it in
Huh.
your scheduler because we didn't have
Yeah,
cell phones as much back then.
yeah.
Well,
I've actually never heard of that.
no.
Yeah. It's, I think so.
Which
That
is
rings a
which
bell,
is
but I
different
don't
because.
really, recall
like, I was
much
I mean, I
of it
came
anyway.
from I came back from
Oh,
Somalia.
I don't even
so
know how I
shit
remember to
was
take
like-
my Mefloquine to begin with, right? But
Yeah, a lot of guys didn't take it that were there. They just like, no, I'm not taking that.
Well,
Because you have a bad experience with it, right?
yeah.
Well, then
Or you can
dreams
just be
in the-
clueless and
Oh.
just keep taking it and
Yeah.
thinking, no, I don't have any problems. I
I
took
took
it to
it all the time.
Somalia and I'm good.
I took it all the time because it was like, okay,
that's
we're
what
all
I
doing
did.
it.
Yeah.
But-
Huh?
I took it in Somalia. Well, look, I had a lot of fucking nightmares. Fucking, but I
Fuck
kind
yeah.
of figured that was just a common thing, and eventually you get used to it. And then when they toss it at you again, it was like, okay, well I took it before, I'll fucking take it again. I didn't know the long-term effects of this fucking shit,
Oh yeah.
or I wouldn't have fucking taken it,
Yeah.
right?
No,
I would agree with that.
No,
But nobody
yeah,
was
but-
ever debriefed on
No.
what the long-term effects.
Like, I can't remember. I don't know how old you are, but
And
I
even
was what 20 years old, 21 when they're like, here, do this.
Yeah.
You're like, what's everybody doing in the section? So we're all the same to make it easy. Boom, we're doing that. Okay, let's go.
As I said, it was
Yeah.
highly encouraged to do that
Yeah.
because it was easier to be on a rotational
Yeah.
basis.
And same
That's a
thing.
very true story
like-
because it was didn't have to do it.
Everybody's on the same schedule.
Yeah.
And coming from guys like
I'll
yourselves,
say it again, man. It's not a team sport.
But you guys,
Or I mean, it's not an individual sport. It's a team sport.
and you guys took it in Somalia, and then my section commander was in Somalia as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I took it, no problem." And it's not his fault at all that it came out that it can affect people
Yeah.
in different ways.
He didn't know either.
No, we were like, "Oh, it's
But,
fine."
right, nobody,
No,
because you don't attribute a lot of the things to the drug. You're thinking it's the heat,
Yeah.
it's the fact that, geez, I almost got blown up today. Maybe that's why I'm all messed up, right?
Maybe I ate something bad, but I didn't eat anything bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's
I
not
never-
get
I
into
never-
that.
I never ate local food. I ate normal food, and
Yeah.
like our food. And I still got messed up just as much as local food guys.
yeah. So when it came to the food, we had to go to a lot of those fucking.
Oh, you guys
functions.
had.
Holy shit! I never touched the shit, man. But my whole crew got.
I did
fucking
it all.
sick.
I did it all the
All the
time. I
time.
drank the tea. I
Yeah.
ate the bread. Even after seeing them
I ate the bread.
eating it.
I had the
It was
yogurt.
just the metal thing.
That wasn't
Is
your.
it a different kind of yogurt?
Big mistake, right?
Yeah, heads up.
And then just barely get better. That like when we're leaving, we went for that meal at
Oh, you guys out of the end.
Torjean's place.
Yeah.
So I got sick after that one for like 3 days. And then we went to the airfield, and then we went to General what's his name's place for dinner. That's where I had yogurt. Very bad
Okay,
call,
so
very
no,
bad call.
let's just get this straight. This is live, right?
Yeah.
You ate fucking yogurt in Afghanistan?
Yeah, and I also drank.
Local yogurt. It wasn't like Activia or nothing.
But that one wasn't so bad because I had it at a place and it was kind of cool, right? The bigger mistake was we drove 4 hours to some village, like I can't even remember which way it was. Like it was out with the kind of rounded roofs. There was it was like a village and they all had that kind of like rounded roofs. But we were there and Buddy handed like, hey, would you like some milk, fermented milk? It's like, well, not really, but okay, I'll have some. Have a drink and then it's like, hey Shapka, come on, have some. He's like, no, it's okay, I'm full. I just ate. Right?
I ate so much
I'm
bread
like-
and tea, I'm full.
I'm like, come on, Paul, you gotta have something. He's like, nope. You didn't have the raisins when I was trying to get rid of them at the last place, right? Because we're at some other village and they offered raisins, and I'm like, no, that's right, I got chewing. Sorry. And he's like, bastard. So he got payback on me on that one.
Yeah.
And then the whole way driving back to the camp was just like the guts were rolling, and I was like, man, dear God, we got to get there soon.
We need to leave Chris behind because you got so sick after that little meeting that you guys had with leaders.
Oh yeah.
And we went back. We were in Dubai, and he's still in Afghanistan, like puking his guts out.
Oh no way. Too sick to go. Oh yeah.
Well, we'll meet you there.
We did have a story earlier today about talking about going on, about me being the leave NCO. And I believe there's a person that I can almost point a finger at and say, I think you had a lot to do with
Sending you back to Peter.
with me getting
Way to go,
It
Devo.
wasn't me at all.
Hey, it's like, "Bird, no, I got myself, splash
names.
into the pool.
Okay, do you want to get this story out? It'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
No,
just
no,
get it out.
I'm not sure I want it up because there might be some other stuff I forgot about. Yeah.
All I know is it had nothing to do with me.
Yeah. And everything to
wasn't
do
there.
with all the
Hey,
guys.
plausible deniability, friends. Learn that.
That's before constant cell phone videos.
I have no recollection of what you're talking about.
He doesn't have a cell phone video of it either. He's just in the bottom of the pool.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had 3 cell phones in his pocket. Next question.
Hey, Darryl. Yeah, so some of they're thinking that somebody has commented, or Debbie saying it wasn't just the infantry that took Mefloquine, it was everybody.
No,
Yeah,
we're not.
No, everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not saying that, but
Yeah.
we're all
No,
infantry, we all
Debbie,
took it. But,
You're right. Everybody took
Yeah.
the friggin' thing.
Yeah, they all had
But,
back in those days.
And Roy Mack had mentioned that when he on his first tour in Afghanistan, he had a couple incidents, and the doctor actually wrote that he had that he was having a. Hold on, let me read it. Soldier appears to be suffering adverse effects of Larium. Right?
No way.
So that's pretty impressive that
I wish
And
they
MO
would have wrote that.
And Emma would
was on
write
the
that.
ball and pick that up, right?
That's pretty good for him to share that. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yep, that's for sure. Yeah, and and even people that even weren't supposed to take the drug ended up taking it. So if we're talking about Air Force, right, pilots, air crew were never supposed to take Mefloquine because it caused for the
Dizziness,
balance issues, right?
Yeah,
the dizziness,
balance,
the
dizziness.
vertigo,
Well,
right?
the last thing you want to do is drop a missile.
And it's funny, like well, that would
It's
be
not
funny.
funny.
That's
No,
not
well,
funny.
not funny.
I mean, we're making light of it, but
Yeah, because
the reality is it's
is
not
it's
that
it,
funny.
it fucks us up real bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I lost where I was at. Oh well, carry on.
You were saying you were talking about not just the infantry take.
Yeah, so, like,
right? So,
Say like I met with like a Chinook helicopter pilot the one time, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, air crew were never supposed to take it. He's like, I took it for a year in Haiti.
Yeah.
Right.
Holy shit.
So they didn't they didn't always.
There was no oversight on it.
Yeah,
You
there's
just-
none,
You just
right?
ticked the box which one you wanted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Imagine if you were an
so-
EOT guy.
I wonder if
Holy
I know this, it might push some buttons and shit, but I wonder if that's how, when you check a box out of it, if that's how you get out of deniability for taking it.
Oh yeah, the argument always from higher up was still,
You
hey, you guys
consented?
made a choice.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I mean.
Like, that's why I use the term highly encouraged all the time, right?
Correct.
So you didn't really have that thought when they're like, "Yeah, we want to sync up, make sure everybody's on the same page." So, fucking, if you get the choice, choose this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So,
they didn't say, oh, by the way, like, you know, in a few years you might experience suicidal ideation and might want to take your life. You're going to have problems with light sensitivity. You're going to have to wear sunglasses all the time as soon as you step
Yeah.
outside. You're going to have problems with your guts. You're going to have, you're not going to sleep. You're going to have insomnia, sleep 2 hours a night.
but
Dreams.
well, that's it. But,
Sleep is
and
terrible.
you had people that had experienced this before, and by the time, like, if you're a new soldier, never been deployed, and never had to use any of these prescriptions. It wasn't until after you took that box, you started taking it, and the buddy goes, "Hey, oh fuck, that shit fucked me up." You're like,
Yeah,
where was the fucking infomercial on this shit, right?
Yeah, like, they can encourage you to take it, but if they're not telling you what it causes-
for that, by the
That's it, right? Yeah.
Well, it was just like we discussed last night in reference to from the time what happened in Somalia to almost overnight being accepted in Canada as the main issue to troops. From then on, in reference to tropical diseases, so for malaria treatment, you know, it's staggering because especially with, you know, don't get me wrong, we're looking at the incidences and stuff like that that was occurring in Somalia.
Yeah.
Somebody should have just said, time to frig out, because it was never studied. For us, we were used as guinea pigs.
That's exactly how I feel. I think
Yeah.
that the guinea pig thing, and I've used that in conversations before, and I've been told to go fuck myself, and I've been told, no, you're 100% right, and then people were like, oh, you're warned, you've done this, you signed up, you checked the box, you did that, but the main aspect of the way that I feel, because I had no idea of what the symptoms were. They were not...
They weren't made known to you.
They were not explained to me. I had no idea what the fuck I was taking.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like I said, you're a team, right? You're taking it, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
He's taking it, he's taking it. It's the same way you take it for everybody. It's the same way you take a bullet. If you're taking one, I'm taking one. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seems like a hidden bullet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah.
The way it was presented.
All I
and-
knew was that we had some vivid dreams. That's it.
That's what
That
was
was
really
the term.
communicated. Yeah,
Vivid dreams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty much the
Vivid.
main consequences of taking this drug is vivid dreams.
They're like, oh, I can handle
Well,
that,
no,
problem.
not just a vivid
That's
dreams.
what I thought too.
I
You
fucking
realize they're
dream
that
all the
vivid.
time. It's no big deal.
It's
Yeah, no.
It's also
Not wet
Same,
dreams,
man.
like
Yeah.
vivid dreams.
I do remember that we were having like fucking 8-hour brief days, right? So they put that like kind of like the last little bit where you're asleep anyways. You're like, hey, fuck, sure.
Oh, yeah, the
Take a
briefing,
box.
yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Pre-deployment briefings. Here you go, and see ya.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know, it's like True saying the same, like guinea pig soldiers for almost, you know, for how far up, even after they came out with 2 other drugs for us to use, right?
Yeah.
Because people were still, well, let's all take it, and then we're only taking it once a week. Less to worry about, like we're saying. What if you got fucking deployed and you never came out? You were stuck out in the bush for 2 days or something, 3 days. Then you just missed 3 days
Yeah,
worth of pills and get sick.
The sad part is, you were talking about being guinea pigs. He felt the same way over a decade later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like.
And why?
100%.
Why?
There was no
You and
oversight.
I
There
have
was
talked
no-
about this before, Devin. Like, that's the most disappointing part to me is that,
It's been such a long time.
yeah,
And you know, for years they continue to push that fucking drug.
that's
Well,
right. Think
it will
about all
always
the
get-
poor pricks behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it always get chosen because it's presented as this is a really good option. This
Yeah.
is the best option.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
did you know what I also heard about Mefloquine, say for women, is it doesn't affect their menstrual cycle. So some women were
It does or doesn't.
told they should take Mefloquine because it doesn't
Well, it
affect their menstrual. Huh?
What? Okay. Yeah.
So the other ones, like I'm not sure which one of it, but it was either doxycycline or Malarone that would affect their
Yeah.
cycle. And I only heard that like a month ago. Is the first time I've heard about that,
Oh,
right?
cow.
But I've heard Mefloquine is used to treat lupus. They use it to treat arthritis. You know?
Oh, like an offhand kind of.
Yeah, like
Offhand,
I can't even imagine. Oh yeah, I was on Mefloquine for my arthritis, motherfucker. Yeah. Now I'm really messed up, right? Like
It's kind of like one of those United States fucking drug commercials. You turn around, then you see the fucking lines of fine print all the way down the bottom.
Well, if you-
commercial's
if
30
you
seconds,
look-
10 seconds are good, and 20 seconds are bad.
when they
If you
gotta
look at
speak
the-
fast to get all the fucking problems in on the commercial because
If
they
you
only
look
got a
at the
minute and
Food
a half.
Administration of the side effects of meflidone,
Yeah.
it's a lot of symptoms that everybody has. Like, getting it mixed up with other stuff is different, but the side effects on the UFDA they're huge, right?
It mirrors PTSD so much, too.
That's what I
Yeah.
don't want to say that word, but they are so fucking similar that you're like, whoa.
Because obviously a lot of us have the PTSD side of things. There's symptoms that we have that are attributed to that traumatic events.
Yeah,
There's a lot of them that, like, you can
Blend
you can
together.
think like, oh, that's just PTSD, but like, why am I getting that angry or like that, like different symptoms? Like my light sensitivity shit has nothing to do with PTSD.
Yeah,
I'm wearing sunglasses when it's cloudy out all the time.
yeah.
Like it's-
100% that
You're like,
light is
you
fucking
go-
killing me right now.
It's cloudy. I don't need my glasses.
Well,
Step
it might
outside
be the
and-
shine off that dome you're sporting too.
That's just an example of one of the sense, like one of the things that isn't PTSD that is attributable to mefloquine, right?
Right.
It's really hard to separate the two, right? So,
That's what I mean. They mesh together so well that
So when you talk and start looking at studies now, this is how are you going to differentiate the information on this, right? Like I know when I was going through the base medical there in the psychiatric wing, they were talking about how much of an increase there is in PTSD, right? Which could be just mefloquine poisoning that's coming through,
Yeah.
getting mislabeled,
Being mislabeled.
Yeah.
Mistyped.
Yeah.
are we allowed to smoking?
Yeah.
No,
Not cigarettes,
No.
just
Weed.
You can leave it now, though. If you want.
we're a bit prejudiced around here.
Jesus Christ.
But it messes up like the equipment.
No.
So you go outside and have a dart if you want.
No, I'm not done this conversation
Yeah.
yet.
So another one I mentioned. Is it
You're really good at this, Mike.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
I don't know how he sees through those glasses.
You see how cloudy those are? You want me to spit on those and wipe them off?
Just to say, yeah, maybe. Okay. Everyone had different reactions to the side effects to mefloquine, right? So, what were the side effects each of you have experienced while deployed? Like, say, do you remember any side effect from mefloquine that affected you when you were taking it?
So
Do you remember?
So the one that was always brought up and I experienced was the vivid dreams.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
That was like the first inclination, but I didn't actually put it together on my tour. But was to the point where I didn't when you kind of came to, you didn't know if you did it or not did it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of a weird, holy shit, am I?
You have a
fucking
slight
where's my
loss of
reality?
reality.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
then,
let's go through one at a time.
Yeah, we'll just we'll grab the
I think-
list.
Yeah.
If I 1 second.
We don't need a list.
No, we don't need
already
a
know
list.
how
It's
to-
like we're talking about vivid dreams, man.
But these are the ones that I experienced, right? And that's
Yeah.
where I was like, holy
That's
shit.
what I mean. If we go through it one by one,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
because
And
some of ours, I'm sure, would be different.
Yeah.
And then I stopped sleeping. That was the next one. Like by October, I wasn't sleeping at night. So then I was like, okay,
Because you were on missions.
it was a fucking high tempo there.
Yeah, it was hard to sleep though.
Fuck. But that's what I kind of recognize now, looking back in hindsight, was the dreams. Everybody actually said it before I deployed, anyways. Oh, wait till you get the fucking dreams,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? But not thinking that it was actually harmful. It was just,
Yeah.
oh fuck, it's a side effect.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think there was a physical side effect that was going to be like life changing.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to? We'll run through it, and everybody. You want to put up your hand if you're affected by it, or would you rather not?
How about I raise my hand when I don't have that?
Okay, that's a good idea.
I just did that checklist on the back of your truck.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I know already.
And
Like, I'm
then
gonna
you
leave
probably
my hand
went, "What the fuck? That's on it."
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Going, man, I never thought, right? So, start off anger. So, don't put your hand up unless you, if you don't have the symptom, don't put your, if you don't have the symptom, put your
This is
hand up.
while deployed or since?
We'll go with, like current, right? Because, say, a lot of times, while we were just saying, right, you didn't know the nightmares. You knew you were having the fucking nightmares, but you didn't know
Attribute other things to it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all we knew is like
what it's
Um,
connected
vivid
to.
dreams. It's all we knew we were gonna have.
Yeah.
I have like flash anger.
Like super short fuse.
So,
Like no fuse.
no, it's like I'd be really good,
I can't even believe
and
I
then
got here.
something would kind of
Yeah, eh?
Trigger
Sometimes
me.
like that.
to put me back into some military fucking form of like being hyper vigilant over a person. And then it's almost like my brain will automatically like 0 to 60 and it would just be some minute thing that would set me off,
Yeah.
right? I mean, some of it was due to core values and stuff like that. You know, when you have a guy who's groping a girl on a dance floor or something like that, right?
Boom!
Yeah.
You know, it's
Sit the
like,
fuck down, motherfucker.
it's literally
If you
fucking
don't, you're gonna be sat down.
game on,
Yeah.
right?
Don't look at his knuckles.
But I mean, but here's the thing: it's not as well accepted anymore,
Yeah.
No.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you got your battle buddy turning around and grabbing you by both hands and turning around, it's like, don't touch him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You gotta leave because you're not in the right space right now.
Yeah. You're
Right.
to you, you're being rational in your head, but you're irrational to everybody around you.
Exactly.
Right.
Right?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
Oh,
And that's
talk
kind
to
of
any
my anger
of
experience.
our old lady and ask them. They should be sitting here answering
Yeah, they're
the
the ones,
question.
right? They're like, no, I never.
I'm good. She'd be like, shut the fuck
that
up
would-
and sit down.
That would be
I'm not
He's
with you.
putting his hand up. He's
that
putting
would
his
be my
hand up.
ex. So no, I don't want her here.
Yeah.
That's a conversation. How many old ladies do you have now after this is?
Oh God,
The
yeah.
ones that stick around, they're dealing with a lot of shit. Like mine.
Yeah.
Oh my
Deals with
god.
tons. Yeah.
And some of them say they weren't even with you when you were in,
No, like
and now they're with you and having to put up with your bullshit, right? Because
100%.
thank you for poisoning me, you know, right? Thanks for the Mefloquine. So here we'll run through all these quick, and then we'll come back and talk. So anger, depression, anxiety, unusual behavior, mood changes.
Where are we supposed to put our hands
You
up?
put your hand up if you don't have it.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. So this should be fairly quick, right?
Yeah, keep reading.
So
Keep
mood
going.
changes, sleep problems, definite. I'd say it. Well, obviously we all
you
do.
sleep great, don't you?
Yeah, 2 hours a night. That's fucking amazing sleep.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Exactly. Concentration, confusion, impulsiveness, personality change, agitation, nightmares, fear of crowds, paranoia, restlessness, suicidal ideation, hyper alertness, bowel disorder, flashbacks, but that has to do with PTSD, unable to multitask, memory loss, light sensitivity. Are you guys even listening to me? Nobody's putting their hand
well,
up.
I'm waiting I'm waiting to hear something.
Yeah.
There we go.
That I don't got. Yeah. So light sensitivity, dizziness, nausea, headaches.
I don't get so much.
I kind of don't get them much anymore,
Okay.
but now it's been wow.
Yeah, now we're on different medication for that.
Yeah. Weed
Just
is
to
crazy.
clarify.
Yeah, which could be the case, right? Vertigo and balance. Speech.
I'm good with vertical.
Speech aphasia. Kind of like when you have a stroke, you slur your words and shit like that.
I
I'm
noticed.
okay with that.
I noticed for like after my first tour, I would have the word there to get out, and it's not there.
I would
You're
mispronunciate it.
Yeah, I'm fighting to get it out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
then I just like I can't talk right now.
It's
That's
like
because
it's
he's
like
illiterate, though.
yeah.
See?
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's
He's from
Smoke break.
He's from Waterloo. No, it's not a smoke break. It's called "I'll see you outside." Let's go sort this out.
Okay.
I'll
Fuck, we
give you-
both
I'll
gotta
give you
go
a-
now.
Yeah. Oh, all right,
you
you'll
written
get
up
to have a
your
smoke
ear?
then.
oh yeah, yeah.
Well, there you go.
He has
Oh,
it.
he's literate.
Let's see, ringing in ears, visual impairment, persistent cough.
I don't
I don't. Yeah,
I smoke like a
I got
chimney.
3 kids, and they get me sick all the time,
Yeah.
but not persistent. No.
Yeah. Tremors or jolts. Skin rash. Trouble swallowing.
At times.
Yeah, no,
We know you swallow.
Not when
Muscle,
you're right.
Holy fuck, that one is. Keep going, keep going.
muscle weakness. Not. It's not about being a weak man. It's just called muscle weakness.
Can't even know. Just like this, eh?
Lip arm, there
Can
you
you
go.
just hold my arm up
Yeah,
every
yeah.
question?
And then irregular heartbeat.
I've had that. I don't know what it's. It could
Yeah,
be
That one
but
I'm not sure.
I had it actually checked there last year, but they never got any results from it.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, like so that was say 34 symptoms we just went over, and probably only 4 were not part of what we're experiencing right now. Now, if we read this list off, say after your first tour on Mefloquine, would you even have probably even checked a box? You know what I mean?
Well, like right away.
Well,
Yeah, like say. Well, I mean, there might have been somebody. I mean, how many do
You probably
do you
attribute
think?
to other
there-
things though.
Yeah, that was always the case.
Definitely, there's a possibility that some of those things could come from other aspects
yeah.
of shit in your life, but boiled down between.
There's a large group of us that have the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Boiled down,
Yeah.
if there's that many between just alone in this room, this many guys. If there was a bigger group and you boiled it down between them, there'd probably be that many in the same group of 40, 50 guys who've done it.
Yeah.
The
So
thing is,
start doing the fucking math.
That would
I'm
be
not good at
interesting,
math. I failed grade 8 math fucking 3
you
times.
should still play crib.
I'm good at grid.
you just gotta count his cards right.
Exactly.
I see how it is.
What's that?
Damn.
4 plus 3
But-
equals 15
but I-
for 2.
So
Yeah.
I was young when I started taking Mefloquine. I was like 21 my first time,
Yeah.
and I can say for a fact beforehand, before my first tour, I had none of that stuff. I was like super happy, like had no issues with that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah.
Right, and all those things you said, nothing was a problem for me.
Yeah.
And when I came back, then it started like I used to attribute it to like, oh, I experienced that over there, so that's what it all is.
Yeah.
That must be what it is.
Yeah.
But you don't know, like until you started bringing out more information about it years
Yeah.
ago. I had no idea that that stuff could be attributed to it, right?
100%.
I had no idea.
But there is a reality, let's all be honest, that
Yeah.
a prior, like, I didn't join when I was a kid,
No,
right?
no.
I'd already lived on my own, paid my own bills, fucking
You were married and
had
everything,
pulled the full-time job, was married, and then gone.
Yeah.
All of that.
And I'm now out of the army, and
Yeah, and now I experience all those symptoms.
yeah,
So those, not all of them, but like literally like 85% of them, 90% of them.
yeah,
So then it makes you wonder. And I think the conversation should be open to finding out what the fuck.
yeah.
Like, it's
Right. I mean, on an average between the 5 of us, it's probably 30 side effects. Right.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 30, 31.
So my thought on this is these symptoms weren't always constant either. So at first it'd be like, oh, it's maybe just a one-off. And it took a while to compound because I know that I had to go for an ECG for my heart. They're like, oh, maybe you have an angina. But if you're now reading me that list saying the regular heartbeat, and you'd be like, well, a lot of stuff is now starting to add up, right? But it was never constant where it's just like, oh, that's what they have. Oh, you're having a flare up kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Or you're triggered, or however you want to say it, right?
Yeah.
So it just comes in waves. It's like anything, right? So at first, you don't really attribute it to anything because you're just like, yeah, fuck it. Oh, maybe I stood up a little bit too quickly, and I got some vertigo.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's also the stigma of saying that you have it and hiding it and not telling anybody and wanting to ignore it, so not paying attention to it. And but other people around you, like my parents, my wife, you know, my kid, my girlfriend, my employer, like through the years,
Yeah.
like I tend to think that they notice it more than we do.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have been through relationships. I've had problems with my parents who have loved me and done fucking everything they can do for me.
Yeah.
I've gone through a marriage. I've gone through relationships. I've gone through friendships. I've gone through issues with, you know, my own kid and employers, and like the list goes fucking. I have problems with the fucking guy who bags my groceries. I just don't. Where the line's pretty fuzzy, but
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you see it through, if you see it through the eyes of being there, then it becomes
Well, people just
More
think like, oh,
clear.
that guy's an ass.
yeah.
But they have no idea your situation or what you've been through or what you've taken.
That's right.
Like it's
Yeah.
just, there's
Yeah.
like, they just see a glimpse of you and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, what's this?
He's a fucking juice.
Like I've been
Yeah.
your friend for many, many years now. And even we had an issue before, but it was like,
100%.
but since I know what you've been through, for the most part, like I understand when
Yeah,
when it's
100%.
not you and when it is you, right? Like it's kind of
Yeah. Yeah. Kind
You know
of
what I
like
mean?
that, right?
He
Yeah.
threw me out of his fucking house.
You know, your closest people will be
Yeah.
your biggest feedback. I remember when I came back home and my wife just told me, you're not the same person. Right?
Yeah.
My daughter said the same thing. So, absolutely. But secretly down, I knew there was something wrong anyways.
I think everybody knows secretly down there something.
But then, at the same time, you're working with all those guys that are exactly the same. So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, they're like that, they're fine. I guess I'll be fine too. It's normal.
But we all hide,
Right?
we all
Yeah.
hide it though.
Right.
It,
Oh yeah.
it came down when after a few years after I left, it was just like, oh yeah, you got tagged, right? You got caught. It was just kind of the same thing, and we all know that everybody's kind of
Yeah.
fucked up in one way or another. Because how can you not be changed by experiences
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this, right? They're adverse experiences, and so when you came back, you're trying to normalize yourself. Like I actually didn't go home. I was telling Mike, I actually went straight to my brother's place and I lived in his basement because all I did was fucking pace back and forth. Right? So, yeah, everybody kind of knew it. Nobody wanted to say it. Then eventually it would come out in an argument and then it was said.
Yeah.
Right? And
Well,
so
it was I don't know, like, for myself, it was a train wreck. We got back at the end of February. My daughter was born at the beginning of March. We get post-deployment leave. My wife at the time was going to school, and she was a trooper. She was like, you gotta stay home. I don't want to miss my last semester. So I literally got back and was daddy daycare for 6 months, and then took parental leave, so almost for a year. Yeah, and then, I mean, those were the best years of my life, but emotionally and even physically.
You couldn't even like talk to us because you're not around us to like see the same like similarities or
No,
like,
I was home
oh,
every day.
yeah.
She went to school every day from like 7 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like doing baby pictures, and because she was a newborn.
That's what I felt bad for the reservists that came for us, or with us. Not with us, but they came to support us.
Yeah.
When they get home, they come back to Edmonton. We go back to battalion, like you went to parental, obviously. We go back to battalion, you got your buddies. They go home, they're on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just like tossed to the wind and like, okay, enjoy.
Nobody there to
That
say,
is- that is a
man,
pretty
you really
valid
fucked
point,
up.
right?
What fucking
They
happened?
don't have
Well, I
anybody
mean,
to
if
they don't have their
If
support.
you ask their
Yeah.
family and their friends, I'm pretty sure they would be like, but there's no support even from the guys that they sit around with, because they just go home.
it was a hard time. Like mental health was a weakness, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's still like. I mean,
I
it's
think
way
it's-
better
no,
now.
It is
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely
way
one of
better,
our-
yeah.
it
Way
was-
better
But
now.
it
It
could
was
be a
treated-
lot better.
It was treated
That's
like
true.
it was contagious,
Yeah.
right? So when
Well, what did you say? Somebody broke down, and you're like, he's a pussy.
Well, yeah.
Like he's a wimp. But
Yeah,
I don't
touched
want
by
to talk
an
to
angel.
him.
Well, even if you
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at,
yeah.
say, after the incident, after January, when the suicide bomber hit the Brink section, remember they had us all go to the one tent there, and they wanted us to fucking talk, and they come around, and we're like, nope. We just went around, and then we all fucking.
How many guys?
Nobody wanted to be in there, right?
How
Nobody
many-
wanted to sit there and talk.
How many guys would admit to sitting in there that did? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just not. And that's what I mean by the stigma.
Yeah.
It's not right, but it was.
It was what it was.
It happens.
It does
And that-
happen.
Yeah.
And that's contagious. It's just contagious.
is.
Just as contagious as being a pussy or being a wimp. It's being
But that's chain of command too.
100%, but chain of command falls all the way down.
Yes.
So the guy standing next to you could be worse fucked up than you in the Air
Yeah.
Force, the Army, the Navy, whatever.
Yep.
Could be the guy that you work next to with construction or doing a fucking microphysicist. If you're wondering about him, and like, it's just the way it goes, right? Nobody says anything about it, and it has to
Yeah.
do with your own mental awareness.
Yep.
And it has to do for
Yeah, but
us.
they gotta break that.
I think that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. It all brings it over, right? I mean,
Yep.
to be able to come out and actually, well, I mean, for one, just to talk amongst friends, right, can be difficult to.
Well, you think
To
about
talk
it,
about
it's way
things, right?
easier for us to do this right now than it is for us to do this with my next door neighbor
Yeah.
or your
Well,
next
that's
door
why you
neighbor.
need someone that has like-minded experiences
Yeah.
and understanding, because that's the whole thing we're working on. We were talking about empathy. I
Yeah.
don't have empathy, right? We're
Yeah.
trying to. So a lot of time when I hear stories, I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
what's about them? Why do they act the way they do, right? And it makes sense. And then you're like, okay, he's not crazy, because what is crazy and what's fucking normal now? right? I always turn around and say everybody has a piece of fucking luggage that they're trucking around everywhere with them,
Yeah.
right?
Closet full of boxes.
You know, fuck,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it's nice, and we're lucky. That's the whole reason, like, why my buddy Ryan and myself actually started the coffee company, was just to be the buying agent between two people, because when I phone back and I'm asking them for a psychologist and they're laughing and going, hey, you know, what do you expect? Like, there's nobody out there, right? And so, what do? Right? You have a choice. Is either, you know, find someone that's like-minded, or you keep it in.
Yeah.
And you can only keep it in for so long. Eventually, it always spills out.
Well, it's like anything else, right?
Yeah.
The pot's eventually gonna fucking boil over.
Yeah.
Sooner or later.
So,
Yeah. Only a matter of time,
That's right.
right? That it's coming. It comes for everybody at one point, I think, right?
I think for every single person on the planet, it eventually comes to some point where you boil over.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
It's how you handle it and how you deal with it and who the people are around you, instead of, like, at various times when I was younger, I surrounded myself with people that you think that are your friends, but, you know, they're just not.
Yeah.
Where are they
Yeah.
going to be 10 years from now?
Yeah.
But you surround yourself with like-minded people who they'll be there later on, right?
Yeah. And it's almost crazy to think it's been 19 years since we were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
06 to 24. Yeah, or 18 years, I guess, since we came home.
fuck it. It took 10 years just to feel okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I look about my journey in my life, it was the first fucking 10 years were absolutely chaotic, and don't really know how I survived it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah. To survive the train wreck, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of people ask. They're not really interested in me. They're interested in my wife. Like, fuck, 20 years. And you guys are still together, and he's done this, and you're dealing with this, and
Well, you're fucking lucky she's that strong and that you were
Yeah.
held it up.
A lot of
Because there's
women
a
are
lot
not
of-
that strong.
where's my fucking credit?
I'm giving it to her, bro.
I'm just fucking.
I gotta give it to her too.
I
You're
tell you.
sleeping on the couch tonight,
Yeah,
by the
well,
way.
No, I'm actually quite blessed. Right, absolutely. But it wasn't, like I said, I was sent to Bellwood for 3 months. I was institutionalized.
I did 90 days in
Yeah.
Bellwood, yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to go there.
I don't fucking.
Bellwood,
oh,
Edgewood,
man.
or whatever, but
That was not a pleasure place for me.
No, it was not a fucking high point in my life, I can tell you that. Changed my life, though.
yeah.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad. That's great.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm glad I never went. But I mean, just, you know, looking at the different avenues of modalities of healing, and they're more pumping you full of fucking drugs, I'm assuming.
I experienced a
No.
gentleman. It's because we had to attend the doctor's meet and that, like, notes in the morning.
I couldn't work out there for my first month.
Yeah.
I was like
So
a
super restricted.
machine at the time.
But I
You know
actually
what?
watched someone that they were looking at the side effects of heroin. They're like, I want that. And then they found a heroin addict and was like, I need you to give me this.
Yeah.
Right? It was insane.
I had no issue through my treatment because that's like one of the leading places for PTSD and addiction
Yeah.
in the country at the time. And I went there for 90 days. And I was part of the Mefloquine thing was about that, and because of other stuff, they were like, yeah, you're not doing any drugs. And I detoxed, and then I went through a long period of time there, like, hey, I need to get on the treadmill. I wasn't even allowed to go to the gym.
No.
Yeah.
It's super restrictive at first, yes.
Yeah, 100%. And then they let you burn your leash the longer your leash gets. Which was interesting for me because I'd never been a drug addict. But I was surrounded by them. But I also shared the same pain and the same shit
Oh, for sure.
from being a fucking idiot and that they had. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was important for me to relate to that, and I think that I did, and I think it gave me a newfound respect for some of the bigger picture in life that.
So when it came to a situation like that, it can be very positive because one person can change that dynamic, right?
We all can change that dynamic.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that it depends on who you're surrounded with, right? Because there was some that were, so
Going through the paces.
well, they were there for a different intention, right? And then it is all group-led exercises, and it was a waste of time. So you'd sit there for a whole hour, and they're trying to get this person to speak, and he doesn't want to speak, so we sit there in silence for a fucking hour. And I was like, well, you're the moderator, just fucking do something. No, we gotta let this happen.
Well, this isn't a thing on the treatment plan.
No, but I'm just saying.
I understand what you're saying.
I loved the fact that you get surrounded by other people that are in similar situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another aspect of it which kind of really sucked, which is other people can influence your recovery. And that's what I was talking about when I watched this gentleman is learning all these different drugs, which I was like, why are we learning this stuff? We should just be at the PTSD part of it, because that's what we're there for. And then he's learning, oh fuck, this is the better way to cope, right? And found an easier strategy. So it could be great, like you had a very positive experience in Bellwood, great, that's awesome, that's what it's meant to be, right? And then other people just unfortunately didn't have that experience. So
Well, I think you take it as you need it, and if you don't want to be there, then you're going through the fucking
Yeah,
paces.
sometimes it's not working, right?
Yeah, it doesn't work for everybody.
oh no, it doesn't.
Neither do the drugs.
Roy Mack was just commenting, just say again, right? The band of brothers, when the shit hits the fan, you quickly realize you only have the guys you serve with, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, right? The civilian people won't be there when you think they're gonna be there, right? And it's the only ones that keep coming back in your life over time through from your service, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm
think
just-
that's what I was trying to say with Devin. Him and I, as friends, through the years, but we've been through some shitty points through a friendship, but
Yeah.
we never. You get choked and do your shit, but you never leave a brother hanging.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think
Oh, yeah.
the people that are out, I think the
More so
people that are
yourself.
out now
Thank you.
How many
for
times
that.
Got in cuffs?
get that point more, right? I think
Yeah.
right when you're once you're out, then you realize more so that those people are part of your.
I found while you're in, you're like, look at all the buddies I have. Like, there's so many good friends. You get out and you're like, majority of those guys are acquaintances. Your work friends.
Yeah.
You have a handful of friends when you're out.
Yeah.
And how many call you back when you're out?
Yeah.
There's not very many, and those are the ones that you know that are buddies, right? Like
Guys
I
that are
check
calling,
on guys
checking up
all the
on
time.
you.
I'm calling guys all the time or texting them and but they're not doing the same thing back, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm on the other side. You're the only guy, and you, whenever,
you got a couple
might show
buddies
up.
still, but nobody
yeah,
is keeping in contact as much.
no,
Right?
but
So-
that's not also their doing.
No.
Yeah.
It's because I've also shut myself off.
So when I left, that's how I felt actually a lot of shame when I left. So I just didn't contact anybody, and I just fucking disappeared. And that's kind of how I want it to be,
No.
right?
It's
Because
100% how I want it to be.
it's just because I was carrying a lot of shame.
Yeah.
Right now, working through shit and understanding why I work the way I do now, then I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. This is great.
Yeah.
Right? And then now it's not a punishment, because it felt like a punishment. Oh, you got PTSD. Oh fuck. You're not okay.
So you left battalion like that, whereas when I left battalion, I was posted to a reserve HQ unit,
Yeah.
and it was almost like it took me about a year to wrap my head around I'm not an infantry battalion anymore, and the mindset's completely different.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, oh, these people are normal. Like it's not like, I never was in trouble in battalion for like harassment or anything like that, right? And within my first year at the headquarters here, I had 3 investigations against me just for, to me, they were nothing. It wasn't like I wasn't saying anything that was bad. I was just holding people accountable.
Yeah.
In the way that we hold people accountable in the battalion.
Yeah.
And it's different in other organizations and different trades, right?
Acceptable.
Yeah. And so
Right.
it took me a long time to get out of that mindset. But that feeling of shame that you're talking about, you have that even just going to the MIR because you have a bad knee or something. Your entire life is guilt and shame for not doing the right thing or being with your team, which is good for certain factors.
Yeah.
But it's also bad for other things. We have a buddy, John, who he tore his tendon in his knee, he had to get knee surgery, and his punishment for it was he had to spend a month as a duty driver or whatever BOS
Yeah.
in battalion because he's injured.
Yeah.
Like
Thanks for being injured. Your punishment for
you
being
can live at work
there,
for a
for
month.
driving the body.
There is a lot of pressure to perform. Fuck, man, I don't know if you remember, I just got my fucking staples out before we were going overseas. Fucking Ian Wadley had fucking removed half his lung,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he was fucking on opiates when he was driving,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, that pressure to perform, absolutely. So then, like something like this where you feel like you're failing, then that's what I said, the shame came with it because you're like, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're letting people down, and then you can't figure out why you can't regulate yourself for fuck's sakes,
Yeah.
right? And then, fuck, like I said, I wasn't sleeping, so I was going through this micro sleep, so it was like fucking showing up in different places, I was acting weird, I was fucking typing shit that I wasn't even thinking, like it was, it was very interesting, but like I said, now going back to looking at Ottawa, and I'm standing behind Mike's fucking truck before I jump in, and I'm like, motherfucker, right? This explains so much. And then, for me, actually, it's a reconcile thing. Then I'm like, okay, fuck, there's a legitimate reason why I fucking choke on something simple, right?
Yeah, how does that, right?
Yeah, so, and then it makes sense why people are saying you're not the same person. Well, of course I'm not. How could you be?
Yeah.
Right?
For just what you saw over there. Never mind whatever the fucking drug gave you,
Yeah.
right?
So when I was in Kabul, we didn't have to take Mefloquine or any anti-malaria drug, and we were doing our platoon's task was pretty much camp security. It was just gate guard, and we had a lot of stuff to do for our platoon. We had about 44 guys, I think. We did camp security, so base defense force. We were QRF for the camp. We were demo platoon for like the ANA to show them how to do section attacks, show them how to do like all that kind of stuff, right? Platoon attacks. We did VIP security, and there was a couple other things we had to do as well. Can't remember all the tasks. We only had 44 guys, and so we were rotating non-stop. We were doing 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off for security on the base. And then, so that was one section, 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 on, 6 off. And then you rotate right into QRF. Then you rotate into security. Then you rotate. Like it was just the way it kept going. Yeah. And there's nothing bad happened. Like I had at least I had the 05, 06 tour
To gauge.
to like have experience from and know what's going on.
Yeah.
But the guys that this was their first tour, and they're expecting to like have combat or something, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing was, it was actually more stressful for me, because the way the camp was set up, all of our X-ray machines and dogs and all that were behind us. We were like the front of the camp, and all we had was like a shitty D-cell flashlight with a broken mirror, and you could check vehicles. Right? And so you're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, thanks. And we got all the stuff behind us, and if anything happened to us, the SOP was to close our blast doors and not go back because the ANA were between us and the US that were still there. Like, the ANA will just shoot you if you're running back.
Yeah.
Right? So we just had to sit there and hopefully somebody would come get us. Okay, that's fine. But So I remember sitting in a truck with my guys, and it was in Kabul, minus 25 with 2 feet of snow. Right? We weren't allowed to wear. I actually brought my winter whites, and I was told I wasn't allowed to wear them. Because I walked out with my winter whites on, and they were like, "Oh, you can't wear that stuff here, right? You have to wear the tan." But none of the tan stuff's warm, so we were all getting in trouble for wearing spud pack and all that kind of stuff. But whatever. But our guys were complaining about being cold, and I said, "Well, look outside the window of that A&A guy that's in flip flops, and their camo walking through snow, right? Like you can't complain about being cold." But then they come home, those guys, the same guys that contact me later, and they're like, "I can't deal with my family because what my family is complaining about is so minute compared to what it's such a first world problem compared to what you just witnessed people living through."
Yeah.
Right? And so they thought, like, how do I deal with this? And like, they just don't understand what you've experienced and what a hard life actually can be.
Yeah.
Right? And so your little, the complaints that your family's bickering about is nothing compared to in your mind, it's nothing.
To what you
Yeah.
were dealing with over
To
there.
them, to them, it's like, oh, this is a big thing, but in your mind, because you know it's minute in the big picture, it's they were having problems with that, and it's like, I'm like, it's not really.
But because it degrades that empathy kind
Yeah.
of feeling
Yeah.
in everything that you were doing after you came back from tour, when you were reintegrated with your family.
Yeah.
You know, you really kind of start losing that.
Yeah.
And the more tours you went on, the more you started feeling that feeling, right? That,
Yeah.
you know.
Like it's a huge culture shock anywhere you go. That doesn't matter where you go. It's a completely different culture, right?
Well,
Than
yeah.
we have here. And like my first 3 weeks in Afghanistan, you're like sitting there watching guys like brush their teeth out of a puddle under the truck and stuff. And you're like, what are you doing? What's that guy doing? Oh, he's taking a dump beside me. Like, in his,
Yeah.
You're like, what is this place?
Yeah,
right?
driving up and down the canal, and you're like, what the?
Yeah, then you leave the city and you're like looking to find Jesus because it's just mud huts everywhere. You're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
And then you come home to like, I remember you driving when you came home. Holy, like, you used to drive in Afghanistan, all of a sudden you're back in Edmonton.
I fucking still hate driving. It's I still hate driving.
Yeah. But I just started to point out, like, doesn't matter what your tour was. It could be a combat tour. It could be any other kind of tour.
Yeah.
Or experience. It doesn't have to be a tour. It could be here, domestic ops, or even like you see something here.
Yeah.
And just the lifestyle in the military is a way different lifestyle from majority of the population. And
Yeah.
so sometimes you act the way, however, we all have different ways of acting, but it could be like, to me it makes sense, but to somebody else that doesn't make sense at all, and they judge you off of it. And then you think about it, you're like, oh, am I being a bad person now, or
That's
am I
what
being,
I,
like, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think if you brought, which is not a bad idea, but if you brought parents and spouses and family in and had this conversation,
It could be a lot different. Yeah.
they would still be like, they'd be like, he's downplaying it for sure. 'Cause it worked out like this for me. You know what I mean?
That's not my story. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not sure whose story he's telling, but it's not ours, right?
Yeah. We all perceive reality differently.
Yeah.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then how we perceive it after we've, say, been injured, right? Then
Depends on where you're on your journey, right?
Yeah.
If you're still healing, you're not even going to be looking at your counterpart and say, hey, how did I affect you this way?
yeah,
Right?
because
So-
it's only because where you are now that you're able to look back
Oh,
and
100%.
say,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Jesus.
There's no doubt
Like,
about
and we
that.
all know people that have, they're not, like, I'm pretty lucky. I managed to deal with my stuff, and I kind of know myself.
Dealing with your
Yeah,
stuff.
and it took many years to be able to be where I am at now, where I'm comfortable. I still have my issues.
Yeah.
Flares up 3-4 times a year, but we also know guys that they still, a decade later, they can't.
What
leave their
about the
house.
guys that didn't make it
Well, yeah.
because of their issues?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
How many of those
But
fucking guys?
but
do
we know people that.
Yeah.
We also do know that there's a major downplay in reference to the suicides within the
Oh, yeah.
military and veterans.
It's not it's not 158.
And part of the
It's
problem,
not 158.
and part of
Is
the
that
problem
the
on that
fucking
one,
number?
No,
That's what they
CIA.
gave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know,
Still collecting
well,
souls.
158
But there's
are
still
still in
going on now.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
But there was also, out of that 158, there was 5 that were suicides.
Yeah.
Or roughly, there was a.
There's a much
A few
higher
numbers, right?
number,
But-
I would say, than
Oh,
five.
it's got to be through the roof, right? Say for everyone that was killed, I bet you there's probably 3 that taken their lives compared
Yeah.
to the one that was lost.
And if,
Yeah.
if it's not like on purpose, it's due to other things. 'Cause I know guys that are no longer with us because they were prescribed opioids in the military,
Yeah,
right? And then they oh, you're out. See you later, and carry on. And then they end
Yeah.
up going a different route because they're addicted to it. But they're not taken
Yeah.
care of, right?
Yeah.
And then it just ends up being an accident, and they're gone.
yeah.
But it's all stemmed from injuries.
It's not
right?
that.
That wasn't looked after.
What
Yeah.
was really scaring me was there was a couple of incidents where we had buddies that committed suicide, and the scenario behind it is absolutely mind-boggling. You know, it was a Christmas dinner, the whole fucking family was there. He turned around and said he was going out to the shed to get some more beer. Next thing you know, nobody sees him for the next 2 hours, and then by the time they go looking for him, he's hanging in the shed and nobody knows fucking why.
No.
That scares the absolute fuck out of me.
You know what scares the fuck out of me is what about the guys that we don't know about? Like
Exactly.
we're all talking about personal people. Like honestly, there was a couple of years there, Debo, that I talked to you. It was hard for me because you'd be like, so and so's done.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, this is, at the time, I was like, okay, I don't want to hear about it, because to be honest, there was a time when I thought I was going to be done. You were there.
Oh, yeah.
We were,
I
I
was
was-
there too, man.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck, I don't want to hear about it anymore. But then, as I got a little bit better, I was like, what about the people and the families of the people who don't say anything? And what are the numbers on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how many fucking dudes are under a bridge getting a fucking check for whatever they're getting it for, and then that money's gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
Nobody ever thinks about those fucking numbers, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers are gonna, like, high numbers, right?
Yeah.
Just the fact that we're sitting in here right now and there's 4 of us from the 58 guys that deployed between our 2 platoons, and if we were to actually have everybody that had problems from that tour, I wonder how many numbers would have. Right? How many people
Well, I
would you
know
have?
how many personal
Especially that
people,
took Mefloquine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how many personal people we know that are gone.
And we know some of the most open personalities are now recluses. They just are gone.
Yep.
They hide from everybody. They don't work. It's not their fault. They're just kind of gone. The guys we
There's-
served with, like, I can tell you a handful. I don't want to mention names, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's guys that the reason they leave the house is to go pick up a case of beer and a pack of smokes.
Yeah.
And
or
that's
go
it.
get a bag.
And they can't go anywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
And they can't go out and be part of their family. They can't, and they can't admit it. And they don't. For some, I don't think they even know what's wrong, right?
Yeah.
They just can't come out. Say when you first find out, or when you first realize, holy, I'm fucked up. I can't do this. I can't go out. I can't.
that's a huge realization in that. Being
Yeah.
able to admit that.
Yeah, and when you
Yeah.
when you hit that
that's
point,
the first one. I
then you
think.
then you can start making changes, right?
I don't know if it helped with you. What happened with you guys? With me, as soon as I opened that book, and emotion started coming out, you can't close that book again. It's
Yep.
like ridiculous. Like I watch commercials and I'm like tearing up and stuff. Like, what the hell is going on? Like it's stupid. But once that book's open, it's open. But if you hold that book closed, keep that book closed, you're never going to be able to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
Well, you
only
have to
going to get
process
worse,
it,
right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
as your symptoms get
Somebody
worse,
else
you're
might
ignoring
open
them.
that book for you, and then you're real fucked because you haven't dealt with anything on the inside
Yeah.
pages.
It's very interesting how the human copes, right? Like the first couple of years that I left, I didn't leave my bed. I was 260. I just showed the picture. 260 pounds, 44-inch waist, man. Right? and it's very interesting how people will recluse and just run away
Yeah.
because you always have to look at it as fight, flight, or freeze, right? If you're in survival mode all the time, you're doing one of the three things, and so that one was a flight and a freeze,
Yeah.
right? And then other parts you're just fighting right through. So it's the point of surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 178 pounds when I came back after like I was saying, being at home with my kid. I was 210.
Yep.
I look like a balloon.
I wish I could see 210 again. I got wedding pictures.
The another comment was just to say, why were we taking Mefloquine? So Mefloquine was an anti-malaria drug.
Yeah.
There was 3 available at the time of our tour,
Yeah.
and we were the
Did
we
you
were
guys
the
have options
smart
in
ones,
Somalia?
right?
No, it was just this what you're
We
getting.
were ordered to take it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we didn't even know it was
Should be.
approved by the Canadian Food and Drug.
Yeah.
It was an experimental.
So
Touch on
what's
that.
even kind of funny, because last night we sat here doing a bunch of kind of watching different videos, watching a bunch of shit on Mefloquine and that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was. But even to say, so the first show that was put out, like the Fifth Estate did a show in 1998,
I saw that one.
right?
Yeah.
That one's no longer out there. You can't get it. You can't find it. We found the transcripts for it, and that one, I believe in that one, the lady that was in charge of the food and drug thing or whatever for approving the drugs resigned over the fact that they
Put that
passed
out there.
passed Mefloquine or whatever, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and say having, because we went to Somalia in 92, 93.
Yeah.
And then 98, they're coming out and they're saying, yeah, the fucking drug's bad. The drug caused it. It did this. They're all saying that. It was like, and at the time I was like, yeah, fuck, that's bullshit, man. Blame a fucking drug. Take responsibility for yourself, right? And then fast forward, 15 years, and now I'm in the W5 guinea pig soldiers, and I'm saying, this fucking drug fucked me up, right?
Yeah.
Because until you realize that's the
You're in a
cause,
correlation. You're
you're
just
like,
like-
no, and you're in denial, or like we're just saying, there was shame associated with all this, right? It's like, no.
Yeah.
The only shame that didn't matter was, to be able to go get your prescription of Viagra or whatever, because hey, that works to help now, right? Because now you're kind of fucked. You can't do that, but. I just remember.
I think if you're on Viagra, somebody else is getting fucked, right?
Yeah, more or less. But,
Just making sure here.
yeah.
You yourself.
But I mean, that was.
That's on an invite, by the way.
But say that was.
Ask you, Rude, who the fuck is your CQ?
But
He's got a good med officer.
But that was the only one. That was the only thing to be able to talk about when we came back. Like one of the troops were like, "Hey, you should go to the fucking MIR. You can get fucking
I
Viagra.
remember
Just
that,
tell them you
yeah.
got a problem, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, good idea." Went and got it. And
Don't need it, but got
that
it.
was an okay conversation.
Sold
You're
it,
talking
yeah.
about
Probably.
doing that.
Oh, okay.
But then soon as but then you couldn't talk about the problems that say caused that, right?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that. That's because that's
But
cool stuff
Your
to talk about.
post-deployment
Right?
screening. You good to go? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
think
fill out the questionnaire and I give it them. You good? Yeah, alright, see ya. Way you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus,
Nobody,
epic deployment, man. I had a wife and 2 kids to fucking turn around and feed and fucking clothe and fucking
Yeah.
be a parent,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Keep my paycheck on the table. We're doing this.
We're doing this, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
What else is here?
Are you on fucking walking?
Just brought up some of the like there was murders, homicides committed during by people on Mefloquine. So like in 2003, there was 4 U.S. soldiers came home and murdered their wives, and then 2 of them killed themselves. A 3rd one killed themselves in custody. Right. That's what led the Americans to stop taking the drug. And I'm trying to remember where my notes are. But anyways, just one sec, because I want to bring that up.
Don't you think you'd have your fucking notes on you?
Yeah. Get the clipboard out there. I think it's up over there on the speaker.
Multitasking is
Oh,
on that fucking
Get that
list.
black marker and sum it up.
Yeah, I'll look for the
no problem. Why don't I just go through this?
Memory loss? Like, what?
Hold on a second. Unable to multitask. Does that
Yeah,
count?
that's for
Anybody else need a clipboard?
But so, like last night, let's see if I can find my notes. But we're watching all the videos. So something else maybe you haven't heard of. Did you know that in Guantanamo Bay they were giving Mefloquine to prisoners that arrived?
That would
So-
not surprise me.
Like Buddy, I'm guessing Buddy was a whistleblower. So in July of 2005, he brought it up, right? So at the detainee hospital, they would give Mefloquine, 750 milligrams of Mefloquine immediately, followed by 500 milligrams 12 hours later. And that's 5 times the dosage that we would take. All at once.
Yeah.
So really what they took was, what was that, 5 weeks worth of Mefloquine at
At
once,
once,
yeah.
within 12 hours.
That's a lot of gut
And that
crap.
they use that to disorientate the
I can see
detainees, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
fucking straight
And-
up poisoning.
So Buddy came out and then talked about it, and 3 of the detainees that had taken the Mefloquine committed suicide. Right? And they all took Mefloquine, right? Like,
It also
You
might
know.
have been because they were in Guantanamo Bay.
It could be.
Yeah, it might have something.
Maybe.
Could be.
like we had.
but I mean, that's going back and trying to come up with, it was fucking hot out. That's why I couldn't sleep at night. I had diarrhea because I was eating rations for 7 months. Right?
Yeah.
We try to think that it's something else.
Well, it's easier if you know something that does that to you. Like, for example, if you eat spicy foods, you might have gut rot.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But it,
So you
so you
reconcile it.
just think, oh, that's all it is. But,
But
it could
in-
be something else completely that you had no idea.
Yeah, but in reality, you could have had yogurt and had gut rot too.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
Well, maybe that's
Any of your meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest, what I learned today is that there are secondary uses for Mefloquine. So I'm intrigued
I
by.
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's actually something that's new to me. Is that they would say, hey, this is for this type of
'Cause
condition.
I know I took like anti-anxiety pills for sleeping.
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
like you just instead of sleeping pills, you'd be like, oh, here's Ativan or something like that.
Yeah, because there's secondary uses.
Yeah.
Is this, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm actually shocked that there is secondary uses to antimalarial drugs.
I would imagine if there is, they are at much smaller doses and mixed with other drugs that
Yeah.
would do the side
You're
effects.
saying
That's the
Might
thing
might
with
be
drugs,
interesting
though,
to look that up, right? Or even just to see what the dosage is for lupus, right?
Well, it'll show you what the drug manufacturer
Recommend.
had. Well, what they had in their test results, right? They're like,
Well,
oh,
there was no test results. It's these guys.
yeah.
They are the
But-
test results.
When I look at
That's where it
test
comes
results.
down to it. We're the
And I'll tell you right now,
we're the
It wasn't
canaries
good.
in the
Yeah.
coal mine.
But you said like lupus, for example. Is that an
Yeah.
autoimmune disease?
I personally don't know.
I'm not sure. We'll Google that right
Because it'll be very interesting. Because then they would have known that it either suppresses your immune system or anything else, right?
Yeah.
And that usually tells you what it can affect and why it goes through, like for example, the brain.
Either way, I never had an
Remember-
immune disease.
But I'm just
Yeah.
curious why the secondary uses, because that means they did a study and they said, hey, it suppresses your immune system. This
Yeah,
way.
but if you look at, let's just break it down. If you look at big pharma, period, a lot of drugs get passed that all has to do with money and not has
Yeah.
to do with.
Well,
fucking-
100%. But that means
Like,
And that was a question me and
why
Luke
do we
was
have an
talking about last
opioid
night.
crisis in fucking Canada and the U.S. and
well, I'm just
everywhere?
like for me.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying
Like,
there's both
For
sides
me,
of the
it piques
coin.
my
right?
interest on like what
Yeah.
other stuff did they observe. So I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit,
Well-
they observed this and this, and then you're like, well, why didn't we know more about the side effects and shit then?
Well, that's
Right?
the
Because
thing.
there's a lot of things that were observed.
Me and Rude, what we were trying to understand, our question is like last night when we discussed that fact, who the hell signed off on this?
Yeah.
Right? Knowing full well of certain effects, and there was the one about, you never mentioned about the Vietnam fucking, they were using malaria in Vietnam, the Mefloquine. Right? And it could have been attributed to a couple of like village slaughters
Yeah. Well, we
because the platoon went totally off the fucking grid. Right? Now, for us in Canada, because we're all Canadian troops, it started with us. Right?
yeah.
And then for some reason, with all the shit that happened, somebody still put a stamp of fucking approval on it and said, hey, all of you guys are allowed to take it now.
Not only that, but recommended it and pushed it.
And push
Yeah.
it. Right?
Yeah.
See,
So the name-
that's my concern.
You had a choice.
Because
For
it
us,
is
we had a
it is a
choice.
failure
But
of
it wasn't a
Hearing that
choice.
from our government.
But it wasn't a choice.
But you
That's
also
my
you have to be able to have.
You guys didn't have a choice. We had a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you had to be informed.
But
You had to be
guys were never
informed of the side
informed.
effects
You're
of
just
the
like, here's
drug, which you
dreams.
were not.
Okay, I can
right?
handle dreams. But I don't know what you guys called it. We called it Wacky Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were just like, that whole day, you're just, because you take it in the
Fuck.
morning or whatever, and you're weird all day. You have a crazy dream that night or a couple days or whatever, and everybody's just off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're never like 100% like, okay, I'm like bang on that day.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what it's called Wacky Wednesdays. Everybody's weird.
Yeah, but that's scary in a
Yeah.
theater.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Like,
Is there a
after-
worse? Is there a worse place that could happen?
I'll throw
Yeah,
this-
to take the drug, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know what you guys are doing. So what about your chain of command? Because they're all fucking taking it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you think, or how do you perceive?
Well, I have very serious questions about the fucking.
how do you
None of our local
perceive?
chain higher. Like, our local guys were awesome.
That's not what I mean.
Yeah, you mean
I just
awesome.
mean
Yeah.
decisions that were made right from the top all the way down to
Yes.
fucking boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we can have that debate until.
And to say, oh, everybody that goes to Afghanistan is taking or taking a drug, anti-malaria, whether it's winter or whether it's summer, it don't
Yeah.
matter. They're
Yeah.
taking it
But it
because
affects.
people took
The point is
Mefloquine
like
on.
we're
winter
talking about
cruise.
Romeo Dallaire. It affected him in his command in Rwanda. And I mean, for a man like that to turn around and come forward and actually say that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's major kudos to what
To
we're
him.
kind of going through right now. But I know that there's more officers in the chain of command that was affected, no different than any one of us.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm trying to point out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody here disagrees with that.
So one of the things I'm seeing, like for the treatment of lupus, they're talking about hydroxychloroquine and other ones as well.
Mm.
So anywhere between 200 milligrams to 400, depending on size. Like size of the person.
It's like 700 milligrams for you.
That's it.
900.
Yeah. Buddy just said, I'm sure VAC will recognize the injuries of detainees before Canadian veterans. Right?
That's not a lie.
No choice offered. Yeah, like the first tours of, well, so Mefloquine we used in 92, and so from 92 I believe till 2003 there was no other option but Mefloquine. So the guys that went on the first tours to Afghanistan in 02 and that, there was no other option but Mefloquine. And I think during that time period 90% of all Canadian Forces personnel took Mefloquine that deployed to a malaria infected area, right?
And that
So
included
there was no
Force,
difference
the whole 9 yards.
in
We're
92
not just-
from us taking the drug to guys in the 3rd Battalion that went to Afghanistan in 02, right? They had the same, there was no
Well, think about how
No,
many
nothing, right?
tours that.
in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you look, so if Mefloquine affects our judgment and everything, then from 92 to 2017 when they stopped giving the drug, then there was issues out there, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, there's probably issues that happened in Afghanistan where people felt threatened and they actually weren't, and shit went down, right? How do we know? Just going right from Somalia, from the beating death to accidental discharges to, right, all kinds of shit. And now that was only, a battle group, or that was only 1,000 soldiers, say, in Somalia. And then you had battle groups going to Afghanistan, 2,500 soldiers at a time. And how many of them on Mefloquine? If till 2004, or sorry, from 2004 to 2009, it was still used 50% of the time. So 1,200 soldiers going every 6 months were taking Mefloquine up
Hey,
until 2008.
You forgot to say you're not allowed to operate heavy machinery while using Mefloquine, okay?
Yeah. So the armored,
Oh, fuck!
so that 18-ton vehicle has nothing to do.
Nothing to fucking do with it, okay?
Or multi-million-dollar weapon system.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. The
Sorry, I had to fucking toss that in.
well, even to say, right? So I was a driver in Somalia with the Grizzly, and I did my course probably like a year and a half or 2 years before I got to the airborne, or before I got to Somalia, right? But I was driving down, the light comes on, the thing, which I'm like, hey, that means there's an air leak, and I forgot the part where the park brake goes on, or the brake goes on when there's an air leak, right? Driving, going. She's smoking, the engine smoking. We pull over, we're trying to figure it out. Mechanics are looking, everything. Nope, nobody can figure nothing out. Get in the vehicle, drive again, and then finally we link up. We're linking up with the French Foreign Legion, right?
Oh, great.
And I'm sitting here. We just linked up. Then I look over.
That's what I mean.
Flames start coming up the side of the side of the engine panel, right? So I grab my Walkman, go to get out. Oh yeah, my fucking rifle. Grab that.
That might be important.
Right? And then I get out. And we're scrambling to get out. Buddy in the turret's the one that managed to pull the halon system and put the fire out. And then we got towed back to our camp.
Story at all.
Like back to Beledweyne.
Is this a poor maintenance issue or a bad decision issue?
Yeah, no. So is it right? Is it that say maybe that it impaired my judgment, or that I wasn't able to figure it out, right? But I mean, even having stopped. No, I am. But I mean, say so for the other guys. Let's say I opened the engine panel. Mechanics looked at my vehicle. Other people looked.
I'm just
No,
busting
nothing
your
wrong.
balls.
No, yeah. But I'm saying, right, that it's.
Could affect your judgment.
Yeah, so
every
was
day.
I affected by Mefloquine by that, or
Yes.
was I just a stupid prick?
I have been.
I was gonna say I actually
Yeah,
am.
stupid prick.
I'm very and I can tell you it's because I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I have a poor judgment story. Okay, so
Oh God, we all have. There's
Some of them probably can't be told
I
here.
think, I think you might want-
90% of them can't be told here.
So, me and him are in Beledweyne, right? And we're up towards the headquarters group. So, I was working with the DCO of the Airborne Regiment, and he did all the administration with all the different organizations, Oxfam, Save the Children, International Medical Corps, all these. ICRC was a part of this kind of conglomerate too, right? So what we were doing is we're doing a food and pot convoy up towards the north, up towards the Ethiopian border. Fair enough. So we go downtown, we get this person from the Vandus, I'll leave it at that, and he's the LO for the day. So we're driving him out. So I'm the gunner, Chad Wiseman is the driver. So we had about, I think we had about 5 villages to hit. So by the time we hit the last village, it was pretty late in the day. So there was an argument over, it's not enough, we need more, and it's like, it's either you take it or leave it. So
Logistics bullshit.
logistics bullshit, right? So next thing you know, the French officer turns around and goes talks to the interpreter, and the trucks start driving away. So the officer comes back and it's like, we're heading north. It was like, are we supposed to protect that fucking crew that's fucking going back the fucking better way? If I need any fucking questions from you, fucking corporal, I will fucking ask for it. We're going north. So we start going north. So we're following along this river. So we're driving along the river, and it is the Shebeli. It's the most disgusting river in the fucking world. Anyway, we're watching this little kid, and the kid's kind of waving his arms like this, and he's got a bunch of goats all around the water side, and we're just waving at him, and we just keep on going.
Is it telling you to stop?
So there was a road, and there's a road that went through a thicket. So what they do is, like, to keep the predators, they do there's thorn, you remember the thorn bushes?
Yeah.
Huge freaking, like, Russian thorn bushes. And they make a big, huge circle fence. And I'll have an opening on one side and an opening on the other, and that's where they put the goats in the middle of the night. And most of these kids don't go back to the village, right? They're goat herders.
Yeah.
So we're driving through this. We had about fucking another 3 kilometers up the fucking trail. So the officer turns around and it's like, and stop. Okay, I want you to turn around and we're gonna go back. I was like, what the fuck? So I told Chad, which was my driver, to turn around and I was like, Mark, because we had these old Rockwell fucking GPS. You should see it. It's like a fucking brick.
There's like 2 satellites.
You know Elon Musk that?
We're 35% accurate today.
So far, so good, right, Ruth?
better than yesterday.
And you can attest, you can see these things, man. It's like fucking stick a finger in the air. So we're on our way back, and then we get back into this circle of thorn thickets. Now the kid's not there because he's still over by the river, and the French officer turns around to us, like, stop the vehicle now. So I was like, what the fuck now? So I'm up in the turret, and I can look over the top end of these fences on both sides. The officer turns around, he's up in the front cupola of this AVGP. He looks back and it's like, I see my monkey. And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? So he jumps down to the fucking AVGP, walks down the trim bay, gets on the ground, and there's this cute little fucking monkey over in this little corner. About 25 feet away. So the officer's kind of going up towards the monkey. And it's like, sir, that's not a good fucking idea. I can see the fucking herd on the other side of the fence. It's like, the officer's like, just fuck off. And so this little monkey started making noise. And it was like, the whole entire fence just disappeared.
Christmas time now.
Because these nomadic fucking monkeys are like about the size of fucking baboons.
No, because they're not monkeys, they are baboons. Right? They got fucking fangs,
All you're
man.
seeing is this fucking thing with fucking teeth, and it's just smashing the ground, right? So I'm looking at Chad. Chad's looking at me. We start closing the hatches on the AVGP. So the officer beelined it back to the fucking AVGP. This fucking monkey's he's just going after the officer. I could have swore he must have pissed himself because he came up on the AVGP and he was pounding on the hatch. Let me in! And we're on the inside. It's like, fuck you, the monkey's gonna eat you. Unfortunately, the monkey never ate him. picked up this baby monkey and went back to the herd, right? So it's like, Chad, we're gonna have to open up the hatch.
Yeah, let them in. Eh? Nah, we had our fun.
It was 2.5 hours on the way back to camp. You guys were on the first flight out of fucking Mogadishu. You are going to fucking jail right fucking now. So,
Not today, sir.
so we get back to the headquarters, and the officer turned around and said, "Consider yourself an open arrest." So he takes off. He's gone to look for the MPs. So I was looking at Chad, and Chad's looking at me, and Chad was kind of like the guy on Aliens. We're fucked, man. We're literally fucked. And I turned around and it's like, no, Chad. You know, there's got to be something about this. Do you have the grid on that GPS? That brick. Go get it for me.
17 hours later.
We finally got a second satellite.
I checked it against the regimental headquarters map. So what the officer ended up doing was, not only did he drive us into Ethiopia, we're supposed to be there in the first place. International rules. There's a little bit of a fucking hurt.
Native to Ethiopia?
He drove us through a fucking minefield.
Splendid.
And the only thing that I said, Rude would attest, because shifting sand, fucking, sometimes you'll see it, sometimes it's gonna be there, right?
Yeah.
So the officer came back and he's like, I can't find the MPs right now, they're out on patrol. But you guys are gonna be fucking charged by the end of the fucking night. And it's like, so you might want to change your mind with that. I says, why? Well, one, you drove us in another country without fucking authorization through the NIDER headquarters. Because I belong to the headquarters TAC.
Yeah.
Number two, you drove us through a fucking minefield. And the last one, I'm gonna tell every fucking officer about the fucking monkey before I leave.
No word of a lie. They were fucking quite fucking scary. Because, see, for me and this other guy.
I'm not going any further than that.
I have something to say. Were any of them related to you?
I would say most of them.
Like just stepped off the fucking evolutionary scale.
We're sitting there. Somebody comes back we had the barbed wire around our camp and whatever, right? So one of the guys comes back and says, "Yeah, there's a couple of Somalis over there trying to trade. They want to trade for sunglasses. They got a couple monkeys they want to trade." I was like, "Huh? They got monkeys? I'm like, we're gonna fucking trade, right?" And it's like, I don't have sunglasses, so I'm like, "Hey, anybody got sunglasses?" Right? Get a pair off. Me and this guy Mud, we go over. We give them the sunglasses, right? And the monkeys are on just like a leash, kind of like the old claw or the whatever, leash, right? So anyways, they're holding them over the fucking wire, and then he just lets go of them, and they drop right in the wire, and it's like, what the fuck do you do that for, right? We're trying to pick them out, get them out of the wire.
Yeah.
So then,
They heard Paul talking about that before.
Huh?
They heard Paul talking about something before.
And then we're going to go do like an OP, the one overlooking all the camps.
Yep.
So we fucking put the monkeys in, closed the fucking door, driver, gunner.
Different time then.
Crew commander, go up to the OP. We're sitting on the OP. We tied the 2 monkeys to a tree behind us. We're sitting there watching from in the little trench shelter or whatever. Hey, look, there's a monkey there. Well, fuck, that's one of ours, right? So we still got the one. So then our shift at the OP was over, so we're trying to fucking
find your monkey.
So we take the one monkey, we put him in, and then we lure the other one. So he's not tied on to anything. We lure him. He gets in the vehicle. We close the door, so he's loose. And then the 3 of us just jump in the vehicle, drive down to camp, and then we just let him out.
Hangover.
So the monkeys were hanging around the camp.
I don't have my glasses.
You're getting old, man. Holy. There, try to look through those things.
But
Jesus,
so
they work. Fuck.
they end up wanting us to take the, or we let the monkeys loose, and then like we can't find the monkeys anymore, right? Where are they? Right, we're looking for them. I go into my warrants tent, like into the mod tent. Walk in, he's got like like a
Two
shelf.
monkeys on his lap.
He's got a shelf like for all his clothes and everything.
Yeah.
Fucking clothes are laying all over the place. One monkey sitting behind the Coleman stove looking over. One's on top of the fridge. There's onions all over the floor. His clothes. So we're like, then I'm like, Jesus, where's the warrant, right? All of a sudden I look out the window and he's walking to, fuck.
We're fucked.
Rude. What are you doing? Why with the monkeys? Right? So then we never got rid of them. So they stayed in their camp for like probably 4 or 5 days. Well, my warrant also built like a wooden wall beside the wall of the tent or whatever. And they'd go in behind the wall and piss and shit. Right? His tent reeked. So he just finally comes in one day and goes, Rude, I'm going to kill the monkeys if you don't get them the fuck out of here, right? So it's like, hey, Mud, we got to get rid of the monkeys, right? So we're trying to catch them. We get one
Ward
guy.
should have got rid of the monkeys.
Yeah. He got rid of the wrong monkey. Yeah. So we catch one, and we try to get the other one, and then it's like I'm going in there to get him, like this, and then all of a sudden it's like, right, fangs, everything, rocking up like this. It was like, so then it's like, okay, how are we gonna do this now? So I'm like, I don't know, I'll hire the smallies. They'll do it. I mean, $10 American should cover it. Right? But I go like this, like, hey, can you catch a monkey for us? $10 a monkey or whatever. Oh, and you might want to take these wire gloves. Right? He takes the wire gloves, goes in the tent, all of a sudden he comes fucking running out. Okay, I guess he's not catching it. Then eventually we're sitting there. We took the one out of the camp, but we didn't know where the other one was.
Is this a PETA thing? Because we are definitely.
This is definitely a PETA thing.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like.
So then we're sitting there playing poker at night, right? And the light goes, and it was like, huh. Right? 5 days later, geez, what the hell stinks, right? Buddy looks up in where the generator was.
Monkey
like
got electrocuted. Yeah.
Bit into the wires.
So, PETA, please do not pay attention to any of this podcast.
Well, yeah, they
a lot
weren't
of good
friendly,
monkey
though.
stories in Somalia.
But they're funny, man. Would give them like peaches or pears, like from the ration packs, and they'd dip their hand in, come up with the pear or peach, and all the syrup all over their hands, and they were all cute when they're, weren't
We had
angry.
a monkey in the
What's his name? Attila had one, didn't he? Didn't he come in with one, or was that?
I don't know who brought it in. I don't remember seeing a
Attila
picture.
didn't have one, I don't
No.
think. Did he?
I remember like Warren Hillier and a couple guys were like,
Hey, we got a monkey, and the
Yeah.
medics
Yeah.
went crazy.
Yeah.
They were like,
Oh,
oh my
'cause
god,
it's
you know how many diseases
Yeah.
they carry?
All I heard was
Like,
Health
no.
Canada, Health Canada.
I literally was going to the mess one day, and you remember how you always had to carry a weapon?
Yeah.
A weapon.
So I just had this fucking 1914 fucking Browning 9mm that you go like this with, and it's just like sounds like a Moroccan bar, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, this thing's fucking useless, but I gotta take it to eat. Put it in my fucking. And then I'm walking to the mess. I forget who I was with, and then a snake went through.
oh yeah, the Vipers were there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I stepped on it with my combat boot, and I pinned it down with the heel of it, and I picked it up. I was like, oh, because I like snakes, right? And then I brought it in the mess, and everybody's like, gone. They're like, let go of that thing. It's fucking poisonous. I'm like, well, You want me to let go of it in the mess? What do I do with it now?
I never thought this one out.
Yeah.
Consequences.
Mefloquine, right?
Yeah.
Bad decision.
Yeah.
So I fucking snapped its neck and threw it in the pool. Remember the pool?
Yeah,
that
the
we
one that
played
puts
baseball in?
I never
first of
went
all,
in it. No.
Does anybody know whatever happened to that guy? Like, he fucking blew himself up pretty good.
Who?
The pool guy, the water fucking guy.
Oh yeah, the Tibet tech.
Yeah, I fucking rushed him to the hospital.
Hey,
I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
wait, what happened?
He blew himself. Chemical
He
explosion.
was trying to figure out the chemicals and blew up to it.
He was working very hard
Okay.
for us.
It's the whole-
Wait a minute, that's not funny.
Didn't they open the pool for like a week or two?
Yeah,
then
and we were all like, yes, finally, we've been here for 3 months, we got the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, no pool.
I just remember he was always out there suntanning.
It was me, Berube, Drew,
Shapka.
Shapka. We were out throwing the ball in the pool, the baseball with their mitts in the bottom of the pool. We're like, one day this pool's gonna have water in
The worst part.
it. It lasted a week.
Yeah.
The worst part was seeing all the Americans swimming in it. We weren't allowed to go in. You're like, come on.
What was this?
Nathan Smith.
Oh, Nathan Smith. Okay.
Remember the Belgians? When we
Yes.
first showed up, they put their body armor up with their helmets up in like
Yes,
the
I
quarter
do remember
towers.
that.
and you'd be sitting there in underwear drinking tea. With the body armor's like just them standing up. Thanks for the security, guys.
Sure feels safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
I wasn't very popular. I did one of the first ones with the Americans in the Humvees.
I don't know how he made it overseas. You know.
Careful now. And I went through, and then we did a CBC interview, and then I got pulled into the talk after the CBC interview. Not popular at all.
You were a poster child though for. Media.
Well, I went, okay, so this is a story. So the Americans were driving through there, right? We're going in Humvees, and they're doing like 90 miles an hour, and there's all these kids and all these women and all these dudes and all the mullahs and everybody standing on the side of the road, and they are just smoking them out. I can't even see the Humvee behind me. We're doing literally like 80, 90 kilometers an hour. And they're like, that's your tour. We go around Kandahar. I'm like, seriously? Like,
That's
I
all
can't.
dust.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't see anything. They're like, yeah, just so you know, 22% or whatever of the air is fecal matter. I'm like, that's because of you. Anyway, so we go back in, and I have an interview with a CBC reporter, and she's like, well, how do you think that when you take over the PRT, things are going to be different and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, first of all, we're not going to drive through at 80, 90 kilometers an hour. We're here to hearts and minds and this and that. And I'm like, we're going to try to do a bit of a presence, and so that they know that we're here and know to help and this and that and the other thing. And then I got back from the interview. I won't say who, but the sergeant major was like, Price, office, now.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I'm
He's
sure
like,
you didn't hear that at all from him before.
that was my entire career.
Similar to my career.
Hey! So I go into the talk, and he's like, are you fucking kidding me now? Probably shin raked me. I can't remember, but I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you went out with a reporter and criticized the Americans? I'm like, I didn't criticize the Americans. They've been here way longer than we have. I'm just saying, we're not going through town, blowing through at fucking 90 clicks an hour, dusting everybody out, pissing everybody off. So he's like, you were under close watch. And I was like, okay.
No change.
Yeah. Something new? You got something else for me? I don't.
I barely made it anyway. So after that happened, then who was the media guy we had? Or don't say his name.
I
Anyway,
can't remember.
we did that, and there was a couple. I did a patrol for a general who shall remain unnamed, and because I'm not in anymore, I don't really give a shit. We literally did a patrol down IED Alley all the way from Kandahar to Calf to pick up his night bag. And I was like, are we just sent the 1-3 patrol down there from Kandahar to Calf to get his night bag and drove back. And I was like, I gotta see what we're going there for. You guys were there in the briefing. I unzipped the bag, I looked inside of it. It was a toothbrush, a novel, and a t-shirt.
At least if you're going to the green bean, you have something to go for.
Exactly. So I shut the bag, and then the next day in the debriefing, I was like, okay, I got a question. And then I relayed it. I also paid for that one deeply.
Hey, did you
Kelsey
kind of
Priest.
clean the toothbrush?
No, I didn't, because I had a lot of body armor on at the time, but
Couldn't be
I was-
bothered to take it off.
I was very unimpressed with that patrol, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I think they had the most though. You guys were crazy busy.
That was too much, in my opinion, because we were short-staffed all the
Do
time.
you have any idea of the amount? Like, did you guess a lot of patrols?
We did.
I mean,
If you
when I
just
was
threw a number out, like, what would you think would be a lot?
probably close to 40.
These were probably over 500.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was ridiculous the tempo over the amount of people we had.
Well, I know for Charlie Company.
It was like way different than when you guys are on actual like
All the
big
time.
operations and the
Yeah.
kinetic stuff, right?
Somebody counted. I think it was something like about 56 days we spent in Kandahar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
Everything else
you're everywhere.
was
right?
The rest of the 7 months was out on the line.
I'm not trying to diminish anything at all, obviously, but
Yeah,
it's
it
just the op tempo. It was outside the wire. Like I think we were about 495. You guys were more. You had like 500 and something.
We went out for everything.
Yeah.
We did about
Yeah.
5 or 6 at least a day.
But those every time out would be like could be an hour trip or it could be a full day trip, right? Whereas you guys were more like kinetic, like you're
we're-
out doing like actual missions.
Which I
right?
do gotta give fucking
7
kudos
day,
to Robin.
14 day,
He
21.
made the sweetest deal with the cooks, so we never had to eat ration. We had always
Yeah.
fucking nice sandwiches and chocolate bars. So shout out to fucking
Robin.
Robin,
for that. Yeah, he was very creative that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. We were out all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
how
we
much
were
would that
also
suck? Then you're eating rations when you got a kitchen.
yeah, but
Right.
it really kind of put us into position as nobody liked us.
we weren't set up to go do like long like even overnights like one or two nights would be the max you go because we
Yeah.
The
We're such
longest
small
we went
groups.
was 21 days, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
but we
And that
sat
was
in
just
Pan, we'd sit in Panjway with 9 guys, 6 fighters for a day, and you're like we have no artillery, fast air's half an
Yeah.
hour out.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah. 100%.
you have no comms, you're on
Yeah.
sat phones and stuff.
No, it's
Like,
literally
just-
circle the wagons,
yeah.
Yeah.
right? Put your like your soft skin vehicles in the middle and hope for the fucking best,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that January incident where that RCMP fellow, that Chalmers,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, so he wrote that incident in the Legion magazine.
What?
Yeah, so we grabbed him. So the rule was the rule 3. You couldn't go anywhere in that city without 3 armored vehicles. That was the rule. But Warren, Black, and myself grabbed that guy, threw him into our truck, and we drove him, just ourselves, back to fucking the PRT and then back into the incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting how like when shit hit the fan, everything we did
Yeah.
it, but the rules kind of went out the
Oh
fucking.
man,
Well,
I almost killed Warren before.
Yeah,
And he was doing the other job in the city vehicles.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I almost took him out. The 50 cali
Now,
last
is that-
minute, you put down the Canada flag.
is that-
Yeah.
Remember the 5 corners there? We
Yeah.
did that PSYOPs thing where our bright idea was to throw gifts to everybody and we started getting swarmed and I was like, this is a nightmare.
Why don't you like crowds, man?
I started butt stroking guys and getting into my vehicle.
Yeah.
I was like, this is horrible. Get in now. Everybody get
We had to do a
in.
patrol in downtown, like Old Town Kandahar, and they wanted to on foot, and they wanted to show that it was safe there. So we had the American general and the Canadian colonel
Yeah.
with no body armor on, nothing, just walking around, and we were just beating the
Photo
fucking
op.
everybody around us, like trying to clear the way. Like it's like that's
Well,
super
throwing
safe here,
out-
guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, throwing
Keep on
out-
drinking coffee. It's all right.
Yeah, just this. like,
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna self-impose close quarter protection.
yeah.
It's like, what?
Also, the other thing that I will never forget is throwing out permanent markers. The mullahs hated us for that. Do you remember that? Because all the kids, we didn't actually, or
Maybe.
Southern partners did.
Oh, sorry.
And they threw out pens, which is fine, right? But they threw out permanent markers, and all the kids started drawing on themselves with permanent markers. Well,
Sorry.
like, it didn't go over well through
Yeah.
psyops and through, like...
Oh yeah, I forgot you
Good
guys were hearts and
intentions.
minds.
Good intentions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that had nothing to do with us, but I was like...
I did like the pen thing though. You're like,
Bing.
look at the medic. They're surrounded by kids. Have fun.
That's right.
Karen Crawford was saying earlier, just when we're talking about monkeys, one was monkeys are eating bushmeat.
That's true.
She went to northern Zaire, now DRC. What's that?
Yeah, the
something
DRC.
Republic of Congo. Is that it? And we saw monkeys impaled on sharpened sticks by the roadway. And if our truck slowed down, locals appeared out of the jungle and wanted to buy them or sell them to us.
As me.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
I
Sounds
need a
like
monkey.
was that a honeymoon?
Maybe. Well, I shouldn't say that because I
It
pretty
depends
much
on
ate
the
anything.
internal temperature of the monkey. I would eat it, but
You at least try it.
Yeah.
listen, I ate kneaded bread by 30 guys who haven't washed their feet in 70
Well, they use their
days.
knife on their foot too, and then flip your bread.
Yeah.
Or,
So
yeah.
I'd eat a monkey, 100%.
Yeah. I probably
Thanks,
would
Karen,
too.
for
I
your.
love
I mean,
that, man.
I drank
That foot bread was
the
damn
milk
delicious.
and stuff like that.
Yogurt
where's
or
the
milk?
No fridge. Okay. Well, whatever. Okay. Oh, gee, my stomach's not feeling good.
No fridge within 2,000 miles of here.
Yeah.
Is that yogurt? It's in my veins.
Throw it in.
Yeah, fuck.
You got a shovel? Give me an entrenching tool.
Yeah. And Debbie from Battle Buddy Mission Canada just wanted to say bravo Zulu to everybody today to share your stories. This will help other veterans who are still in the dark about this drug and the side effects.
Right on.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, it's almost funny, like, and you would almost think that, you know, because of the guys that took it in Somalia, even the first guys going to Afghanistan that took it, right?
100%.
You would think somewhere along the fucking line somebody would have said, Jesus, what are we taking this drug for? Right?
I think the
You know,
stigma related a lot more earlier than it does now.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest, in the army, the further back you go, the more men were men and women were women. It was a harder and tougher time in the army when men and women, the further back you go, the not to diminish anything anybody's ever done, but the earlier you go, the more it just wasn't there. The technology wasn't there. The like
You just do what you're told too.
and well, we always did what some of us did what we were told.
Yeah, maybe not some of us.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The earlier you went, it was more of what it was, and those.
The way I viewed it for myself was, I always viewed when I was anything I did in the military, it was safe and it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
And it doesn't matter if it was a physical thing like rappelling, or whatever. Like, okay, everything I'm doing is gonna be 100% safe. They're looking out for me. That's the way I viewed everything when I was in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you realize afterwards, like, maybe it wasn't that way.
So what are your opinion now?
Well, there's certain things that could be changed for sure.
Yes.
Right.
I think they've already changed, though.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, yes. But, I mean, like, I would bring them back up the topics in reference to places like Kosovo and Bosnia and Afghanistan. None of the effects of that area has ever been put on any of your file or record.
Oh no, I 100% agree. I'm not saying that it wasn't like. I mean, there is shit on my file. I hope that never comes out. Just for my point of view and my. But there is stuff that should be. I should be able to access.
Yes.
I want to know every drug I've taken, every like injection I've taken for, whatever.
Like basic training, you show up and they just go
It was a
sit there,
pure-
and it's just like you got
Yep,
like,
yeah, you
six
just
right
walk
arm, four left. Where did
It
you
should
put
be
it
a
in?
part of your out process.
Yeah.
And almost what's
Right.
if you look back.
But the
now,
only problem
like-
with if you
like
don't
however many
for it,
years ago, say when we were kids, how many vaccines were actually out there?
Yeah.
And now it's like,
There's lots,
right?
yeah.
Now they're just fucking loading you up,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't make much sense.
Boy, you really need that care.
I think he just likes the.
Likes to look.
I'm
at
on a
himself.
diet.
Yeah.
God, I like to look at myself in the window. Fuck, you're a good looking man.
Mix the cream off the carrot. There you go.
I know you're not very smart, but everything will be fine.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, quite a time.
is there another question?
Yeah, no, that's just some other comments. Just people. Roy Mack was just saying, like for the reservists that came back from the Medak pocket, from the
Yeah.
Medak tour, that same thing, right? You just boom, you're off, and you're
Yeah,
sitting
we
at
were
home.
already talking about
And
that.
who in the fuck do you talk to? Then?
I
We're
didn't-
fucked.
I didn't really recognize that until I was posted to reserve brigade, right? You start seeing like we start sending guys out. They come back. There's zero contact with them. And on my in Kabul,
I want to say something.
my
when you're
my
done.
2IC was a reservist from Vancouver here.
Yeah.
Awesome guy and all that. But as soon as we got back to Edmonton, he was on a different flight back to Vancouver, and it was just like
Yeah.
we didn't have Facebook. I had no
Disappeared.
contact with the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I want to say something that might be. I want to say that also regular forces looked at reservists as less
Less, yeah.
Yeah.
than they were, which is not true at all. But we always did because we were always a brotherhood, and they had their own brotherhood, and we were like, oh, fucking reservists, and they didn't have the support they needed, and because we didn't know any better, and we were,
Yeah.
it was kind of an ignorant point of view, but we did it, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
speaking for myself.
I did it
Yeah,
too, and one of the reasons I did it.
I did it because
Was-
everybody else did it, and I thought they were part-time soldiers. But then I found out that they had sometimes, not till
More
even
experience.
yeah, not till even after I got out, I found out that some of them had spent more time than I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or another thing is, like, especially when I got posted out here, is guy's a doctor, is now a corporal, like in a unit. I'm like, well, should we not an officer? He's like, I just want to be one of the dudes.
Yeah.
But there are people that are working full-time jobs, and then they come back, and they're giving up their time towards their unit. And when I was in the army, as soon as 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever the time, end of the day was, I wasn't going back to like. No
You
way I wanted to
couldn't-
go do something like that. Or even now, I wouldn't want to do it.
You couldn't
And
fucking
so
pay
my
me enough
respect
money
level
to
went
do
from
it.
like down here because that's what we were told to up here from them. And
Yeah.
another thing, reason I kind of was I had to explain to some of the reservists that I was working with was as a reg force guy, I had a section of say 11 guys or whatever, and I just kicked 3 guys out of my section to bring 3 guys in.
Yeah.
They didn't know that. They thought there's
Yeah.
there's just empty spots. Oh, let's take those spots if the reg force doesn't have enough. They don't
Yeah.
realize that we're getting rid of our own guys to bring them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that kind of
There's a
part
big
of the
attitude.
attitude, right?
There's a big
Yeah, so it can cause
misconception
grief.
between regular force
Yeah.
and reserves that I'm pretty sure that line will always kind of be there in some aspect or not,
Yeah.
but
They're really trying.
whether it's true or not
They're
is
trying to blend it a lot
They're
more.
they're trying to break that barrier because
It
as
should
a
be
supplementary
broken.
forest. I'm
Yeah.
actually seeing how they're trying to incorporate, like for example, the Canadian Rangers into more of a military fashion, so that we, that we amalgamate
Or
properly.
even join them in on exercise kind of
Yeah,
thing, right?
but even fighting for benefits now. So like Class A to Class C, Class C you can at least get some dental benefits, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So you can see that they recognize this problem because this is a generational problem, right? If you actually look at like World War II on, or way before that, you used to go as a community, as a unit, then you come back and you stay in a community. Because I actually had this conversation with Paul Nichols, because he's
So he's the
so he's talking about that as well. Is because now with you can have someone from Newfoundland be in the Patricias, right, and then I'm on the island, and then we break off anyways. We're going back into our communities, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
I think one of the entire problems of the military is the generational gap. Like,
Well, we're an Asian army now, right? Like,
yeah, but I mean, the older guys look at the younger guys. There's no like the older
steep.
yeah, they look at us like these guys look at us and they're like, oh, those guys are pussies. You know what I mean? And
How'd you know
the
that's what I was
guys
thinking?
and the guys from them who are harder, but technology and progression goes as we should all entirely be a brotherhood. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where the stigma comes from, I think, through the generational gap to this point, or like quite a bit earlier, where we're like, okay, there's a fucking issue here. We should deal with it.
The older
Yeah.
guys are always like, I had it harder.
Well,
Yeah.
It's like, but things
It's
change.
the same thing.
Yeah,
yeah, but the point that I was trying to tie it all in is the reserves. They're going back and they're having no support. Today's modern army is the same, right?
Yeah.
Where at least back in when you went to war as a community, they still drink together. That's why the Legion was like parts of why the Legion was formed. Organizations were formed that way,
yeah.
right? And we're actually seeing, so as you're talking with this reservist, I'm still thinking back in my head, it's like once you're done your contract or you're out, it's the same concept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're staying in Edmonton as your community kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So
I have a very serious question between us and him who's not here right now. None of this means we can't still make fun of each other, right?
I love it, man. Yeah.
We can make
It's still
fun.
different,
Okay.
man. Yeah.
Fuck, perfect, then I'm good.
Yeah. It's fucking solid, man. So, but that's why I kind of, when I hear these problems, because I actually face these problems now.
Yeah.
As a patrol commander, you're dealing with these isolations, and you're dealing with people that want to do domestic ops, and then how they're looking at it from the mental health aspect, and right. So the army is trying to evolve here, because we are actually, I don't even know what the average age is for the main army, but for the Rangers, the average age is 48. Right. So like we're getting older and older. You're talking about generational gap. There's none coming.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
though. Between now and where we are,
Yeah.
it's been not a big deal, but huge because of that generation thinks of this generation, thinks of this generation. And then what do we do?
But we get kind of stuck there, because now it's kind of funny, because I don't think of myself this way, but they're like, "Oh, you're the fucking old school guy." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Well, yeah. Right?
I kind of think you're a factor that it's just too top heavy.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about military problems. I can fucking name a whole bunch, but I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, just play it quiet for now.
I'm good because I'm retired right now.
Yeah. Hey, just so
But
you
they
know,
are-
anybody in the military, you can't fire me. I don't fucking work for you no more.
Yeah. No, sir. Not a chance.
Right?
But
Yeah.
just seeing how things are evolving now is kind of crazy, because my son's 15 and he wants to join the military. So I only have him for another couple of years.
Here's a
Tell
question
them they
for
can train.
anybody watching and anybody in this room. Would you have your kid join the military?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. No.
No.
I'll tell you why.
Well, we don't care why. It's just a question.
No,
No, yes.
it's very curious
Devin?
because
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
You want Nathan? Evelyn? Any
No.
of the...
not now. No.
No, my son's in the Navy.
Yeah.
I'm infantry. I was like, the only thing I want you to do, son, is don't join the infantry.
I think
That's what my dad said.
Hey, how come you didn't listen to him?
I don't know. I never listened to him to start with. Why would I start now?
That's why I put you there.
Like, get a good spec trade, okay? You know, you can make some fucking.
I joined
better
to
money.
be a military firefighter, and we went in there, and the recruit. I went with my dad, who did 10 years with fucking 2 PPCLI, and the recruiter was like, "Ugh, the trade's closed. You want to join the infantry? You like camping?" I was like, "I fucking love camping," and my dad's like, "Do not join the infantry. Do not join the infantry."
do you remember that recruitment video where everybody's at the fucking fire? Do you remember that thing?
I don't
Okay.
remember the
I'm
recruiter.
gonna just pull it one fucking point. We've never had a fucking fire.
No.
I saw one.
A tent got on
No,
fire.
2013 there was a fire.
Oh, fuck.
It was
We had a tent fire one time. At the Coleman stove.
California.
Going to deploy to Somalia, right? The
Yeah, it's
flames are like
California.
up to here, coming off the Coleman stove. So Buddy kicks it into the door that was closed.
Yep.
And then the fucking
Quite flammable, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then all there was 2 zippers hanging from our fucking, our winter tent. Yeah, thank you. Now it's so much
Yeah.
warmer in here.
I do believe
Right.
Mike McKay lit one up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
we were
never
coming
seen
down
a
the
fire.
fucking hill, and it's the same situation because you're panicky. You're not fucking open up the zipper, and he's trying to kick it under. And then he was trying to fucking. It was snow time, of course, right? So he's trying to douse the fucking fire, and I'm walking down. I was like, Mike, your tent is on fire.
I remember seeing Yanni. I remember seeing him on fire.
Oh yeah,
He pumped up the mountain stove.
Oh god.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, he pumped it up, and guys were like, "Guys, you should stop. You should stop pumping it. It's enough." And he's like, "No, it's still got some pressure."
I have seen some
right?
Yeah.
And then he was spraying it all over himself.
because it was coming through the
And
bed.
he was in an OHP in a C6 trench, and so he lit it. And all I heard, they wouldn't let me go in there because I was a new guy. So I was like sleeping. I was in my sleeping bag behind.
Safest guy around.
We're on a winter X with no toboggans. There's no like sleeping arrangement. So we're just like
Cross
in your
country
ditty bag, right?
skiing.
But all of a sudden I just hear screaming, and Yanni comes running out. And
Are
it's
we
nice.
supposed to use names?
It doesn't, whatever. He comes running out. And Buddy's like he's swinging his arm, and all I can hear is
Just giving it air.
and he's got a light show going on. But when he got
The helicopter lands.
when he was getting out of the OHP, he kicked it over and got everybody else on fire. They all come rolling out of this OHP like, "Oh god!" Then he ended up burning tents down later too. But in California, because we're in such high elevation, that we couldn't get blue flames on our stoves,
Yeah.
right?
So then you-
oxygen, and so we always had a high flame. And then I think we went through 4 stoves in like 3 days, my section alone. Just for,
I think you did that with B Company, right?
yeah.
I think you guys went on
06.
that just before I came to the
They
company.
had a blizzard there, and the Marines said no. The Marine commander was like, no. And then our sergeant major, who shall not be not named, was like, oh yeah, we do this all the time.
You're gonna pick 3 crests?
Yeah,
Crest 3
right?
mountains?
We're sleeping in snow caves for fucking 2 or 3 days. This sucks balls, man.
Then you were there too, right? Then we lose like one of the missions. We lost about 60% of the company. They're like, we got to turn
Yep.
around, and go back.
Yep.
We left Reki out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like in the middle of nowhere in the mountains. Like, we're not coming, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. My bad.
They tried to warn us.
And we had that one warrant there that was like, I can survive on coffee and cigarettes.
Oh yeah, that's No, you can't.
10 minutes later, he's doing the funky chicken on the ground.
By the way, no,
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, we don't believe you anymore, buddy.
Then Hillier walked by. He's like, "You want to smoke and a coffee, buddy?"
Yeah, fuck. I love the banter and the fucking way you guys stuff.
Isn't Hillier dead now?
Yeah.
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 A
There's
couple
one.
years ago, I think, right? Possibly.
There's one.
Still good stories. He was a funny guy.
Fuck,
Yeah,
he
he
was
was, yeah.
hilarious, man.
Yeah. Me and Gillis went to his parents' place for like Christmas. I think
Oh, yeah?
it was. Or, yeah, I think we went there Christmas Day or something.
That's
And,
another name I haven't heard. in
I
ages.
took Gillis. We went.
Sean.
Yeah.
Gillis was.
And I took him. We went to the Hutterite colony, drank there for the night, and stayed over. And then, as I'm working in the pig barn with the guys, he's getting a tour around by everybody and whatever, checking out the school. And then we leave. And we go to my dad's. We drink there one night. And then we go on to Gillis's place, to his parents. And then, or not Gillis's, but Warren's place. And Gillis is like, "Man, I'm sick. I don't know what's wrong with me, right?" And then finally, it was like a
Did he
day or
have
two later.
yogurt?
Yeah, he had their milk, and they don't pasteurize their milk.
Yeah.
So he got.
So it's yogurt.
He's like, he got sick from milk. I'm like, "Oh, come on, man! I was there. I drink."
It goes full circle every time with you.
You have tolerance now. You're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
But, and then just sitting there drinking at his dad's place, fucking sitting in like a steel bathtub that they got like a fucking blowtorch on the bottom.
Yeah.
And they're making their homemade redneck fucking hot tub.
Yeah.
Sitting in there drinking fucking.
Okay.
Get up with
I'm
that
gonna have a
strap,
smoke.
Yeah.
It's poor man's hot tub, man.
Yeah. Maybe we'll.
We used to do it in the field all the time. Maintainers and an AVGP pump.
Yeah.
Remember the Herman
Roy
Nelson?
Roy Mack said only a soldier will laugh at others that caught fire. Yeah. Yeah, so
How big? I gotta get on here.
yeah, maybe we. I think I put for a couple hours. I should just check with Dave here for a second.
When I left over there, I told my wife, she's like, I could hear my kids screaming in the background.
Isn't that crazy how
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be going home then.
generations, different deployments, still the same shit?
Yeah, and
Well, there
the,
was an overlap for us old fuckers.
and the same banter, and
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Just
You know.
continues on.
Yeah. But it is kind of surprising to say. I mean, would you have thought? Say, even thinking back to when we're in the PRT, right? Would you have ever thought that like 4 of us from the PRT would sit down and talk about how fucked up we are,
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah. I am,
We're in a different place now, right?
Yeah.
And
it's a very surreal feeling.
yeah, it's
Right.
it's
What?
because nobody really talked about PTSD or talked about any of that. It was like shut the fuck up and fucking soldier on and never mind, right?
Yeah.
And then now we're in a place where it's like, yeah, man, no, I'm fucked up. I can't do this. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I got this problem. I got that problem. And we're all talking, right? Like, even when, say, setting this up or whatever, to say, hey, let's talk about, we'll talk about Mefloquine. We'll talk about symptoms that affect us.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, for like, say, for Devin coming, for yourself, for Gerard, how many are people actually coming to talk about some of their problems, or they do, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and we all sat there and like like this is a normal thing, right?
Yeah.
Getting together and but it is kind of
It
now,
totally is.
right? It's the new way for us to deal with shit, or
Or adapted.
yeah,
At
yeah.
least get some understanding and truth.
Yeah, and there's I don't know what you'd call it, but by talking about it and letting go, it's like, or releasing
Well, you're
some of
processing
it, right? Yeah.
You're slowly processing it, and it's sitting on someone's couch or sitting at a therapist's couch. I prefer someone else's couch, right? Because
Yeah.
at least they've lived through that story. You can help process that way, and if sometimes like I say, remembering that someone got caught on fire and you're laughing about it, right? And it's
Yeah.
helping process these feelings or these, what I say, it's broken record syndrome. It's the
Yeah.
things that just keep on playing and playing, and then now it's finally put on the shelf a little
Yeah.
bit at a time, right? So
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. Like I said, this journey, I've been doing it for many, many years,
Yeah.
right? Because I got picked up really early. And yeah, I may have been medically discharged from the military, but at least was told you need to seek resources. And then I started seeking those resources,
Yeah.
right? So I'm lucky that way, where I've learned a lot of different coping mechanisms
Yeah.
and what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And, right? And
Yeah.
the biggest one that I know is just freaking talking about
I
it.
appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Being able to be open and talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But let's go back for a sec, because I would like to hear, say, like say I'd be against I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Army or the military as a job to my family or to my kids right now. But that's more to say that I think the ship is being steered by a madman. But
Yeah.
that's besides the point. What do you? And I don't think the role of the military or the fact that that's like a purpose-driven life, right? That you're.
I hate to remind you, I think when we joined, it was run by a madman too.
Oh wait, information overload.
So when I look at it, when it comes to my son, he's heard all the nasty stories, right? But he's still making a decision because I have to treat him as he's his own man.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide him. I want to be the best mentor that I can be for him. So if you're asking me, it's actually not me to say yes or no,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
it
there you
really
go.
isn't,
No.
Yeah,
right? But if he's going to choose that, there is the in and outs that we know, right? Which can help him on his journey.
Yeah.
Right? And then now we'll always be there for him because we've been through it, right? So I'm hoping that he won't feel alone.
I think for me, with my kids, especially my son, well, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
I have 2 girls and a boy, but he's so smart.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be almost wasting himself in the military. Because he's like, oh, like for me, like I'm an electrician now. He's like, I want to be an electrician. I'm like, dude, you're like way above that. Like his ability. It's
Yeah. Oh, it's always
and so if he wanted to do it, no problem. I'd support
Yeah.
him no matter what. But I know that.
we want
Right.
them to always be better than what we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
No.
I said the same thing to Caleb. I'm like, just don't be a fucking NCF. If you're going to do it, definitely try to be an officer.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's some pros and cons to everything. But
Yeah.
if you really think about why our bodies feel the way they do, it's because we had an officer come in, run us for fucking 3 years, then he goes off to do his Ottawa check for fucking 3 years, and we get a new person, they run us another fucking 3 years.
Yes. I want the best 3 years. You had that like 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, gave it up. Yeah,
But they're
6
still
years ago.
young, and they're still ambitious,
Yeah.
right? And we're like, holy fuck, we've been training like a triathlete for fucking 6 years plus now, right?
Yeah, and that's the
Starting
problem
full
with all the people that you spend 10, 20 years in a battalion,
Yeah,
and every 3 years you're given your best 3 years.
yeah, that's
Right.
exactly it, right?
Yeah,
So it's just something that I'm at least coming to terms is it might happen if I encourage it to at least help him become a better soldier,
yeah,
then his survivability will be higher. Because the way I look at it right now is we went to World War II and looked at conscription. It's 18 to 45, right? So I'm on my way out if they keep the old rules. My
Yeah.
son's on his way in, right? And we all know a volunteer is trained better because you want to be there, you have more time and training, and then you have a conscription which you just become cannon fodder because you get minimal and fucking put through, right?
Yeah.
And you're seeing that in the Ukraine and shit. So when I look at it this way, I'm like, I'd rather him be fully trained properly and have the ability to probably survive a little bit higher than, say, a person that has fucking very minimal.
got
and-
conscripted, did the 10 weeks, 12 weeks of basic training,
Yeah, absolutely.
bit of this, and then gone.
Yeah, so that's kind of how my brain works and how I think about things. That's why I said I don't even hesitate. Yes, right? If he
Yeah.
wants to do it, but I
Yeah.
solely treat like when I train, prepare for the Rangers and kind of stuff. I use him as a training aid so he can also learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I'm very proud of my son.
yeah.
33 years old in the Navy. And,
Mhm.
you know, what are you doing? You know what he's doing now. So, I mean, you know, he's a
Yeah.
hard charger.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him.
Well, our children they're our legacy. Everything else is fucking just, it doesn't matter.
No.
Right? They're
Yeah.
carrying on your memory until so long, but they're carrying on our DNA. That's the whole purpose of reproduction, is to carry on our genetics. Right?
Yeah.
That's how we become immortal.
Ooh,
But
Yeah.
I gotta get taken off here.
All right. Do you want to do last points? Do you want to any last things you'd like to,
No,
Say?
I had nothing really.
Hmm?
I had no final points.
No. Steve? Any last final points? Anything you'd like to say besides tell me to fuck off? Or you can do that anyway.
Well, you just ruined my last point.
Are you
Oh,
taking
well.
off too?
Not.
Then we're not
immediate.
wrapping. Just Brangie has to go. You
Oh,
keep
okay.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, no, sorry,
Yeah.
Dev.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. that's. I gotta get going to. Like I said, I got young kids at home. I gotta help take care of. So
No, thanks for
Yeah.
coming, man.
I
Like,
appreciate it.
really,
glad to be here.
and it's been nice, right, for us to sit down. Like, this wouldn't have happened 10 years ago, even, right?
This wouldn't have happened 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I doubt that even for myself, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah.
we've all come to realize that our bubble as veterans is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Hmm.
And if we don't start talking about the situation, people are going to turn around and do things that, you know, are outside their normal reasoning. And all they need to do is actually hear this conversation that we're having today and let themselves know that they're not alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is that I would like people to not make the same mistakes that I made, you made, he
Yeah.
made, he
Oh,
made,
yeah.
he made,
Yeah.
and just,
I guess my final point would be: don't be afraid to talk.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the best thing to help through anything is talking to other people that.
Yeah.
Like, mainly people, for me, in my experience, mainly people that have similar experiences.
Yeah.
If you can talk to somebody else and don't have the same experience, they're just going off of them, and they can't reflect the same way.
Yeah.
Whereas you
Yeah,
talk to
there's
someone,
no relation.
you talk, like I bounce stuff off him all the time. We've had very similar lives, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, there's no judgment no matter what. Right.
Yeah.
And most veterans that you talk to, even if you don't know the person, there's no judgment. Because you always have that bond.
Yeah.
Even if you never worked with that person or a different trade or whatever, there's always that bond that you've given up part of your life for something else.
Yeah.
Right. So just don't be afraid to talk about anything, because it helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Oh,
All
yeah.
those times that you think, you know, that you could have used the fucking discussion or
Yeah.
talk, and then never had it, right?
Yeah, and we talked earlier about like one of my mentors, that he was very helped me a ton just by being completely open and talking to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Makes a big difference.
yeah.
I even think say for coming out and talking about having PTSD or stuff like that. You know, I think about Tim Turner, right? Tim Turner's the fucking quintessential tough guy, standing, right? Always that hard persona.
Yeah.
But then I seen him sitting there talking about PTSD and saying, fucking talk, let it out or whatever. And I'm like, fuck, man, for a guy like that to come out and start talking like that, man, well done, right? Because so many people will listen, right? Because a lot of times, and that, like you're saying, right? Unless you start talking, there's no real.
Once I started finding, started doing my own talking to getting help myself.
Yeah.
I was 100% open about it, just to my guys in the platoon.
Yeah.
And tell them exactly what I was doing, just so they knew it was okay to go get help too.
It's
right?
okay, yeah.
Right.
It's same
Yeah.
with Paul. When Paul spoke at, I think, or was it his Depart with Dignity or something? One of the ones I remember him talking about how tough it can be, but we just have to speak out sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Lead by example,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to break down those barriers, you actually have to,
Do it
Yourself.
yourself,
Do it yourself.
and show it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
You can tell somebody to do something all you want, but if they see how it, if you do it yourself and they see how it affects you, you might not even know that they're going to get help. But
Yep.
you might have affected somebody's life just by them seeing you doing something, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's funny how you say, we were saying earlier, how you, when you went to MIR and then it's like, boom, here's all these other people there for the same thing.
Yeah.
But they weren't talking about it over at the
work.
unit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, I gotta take off. So good seeing you.
Thanks
a lot.
coming, man.
Thanks. Good see you around.
yeah, it's great seeing
Yeah,
you.
good seeing you.
man.
man. Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Good seeing you again.
Well, take up some pizza on the road.
Oh, I gotta get going. Appreciate it though. Thanks.
Okay, did you get the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to. I'll ask. Find it.
Text me tomorrow.
All right.
All right, see you, man. Thanks for coming.
You're a bit of a big guy.
Pizza.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I think the best thing that goes with pizza would be a smoke.
Biggest one I got.
Not a smoke, not a cigarette.
Appreciate it a
I'm
lot.
saying
Yeah, man. No,
one of these bad boys.
Fuck, then you're opening me up badly.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting listening to other people's perspective of the same event, right?
Mhm.
We never had these talks. It's actually kind of funny because my wife, when I was coming back, you go to the post deployment, right? For us, it was in Dubai, and she was going up to the base to meet the other wives, and they were talking about, you know, how we could be coming back differently and all that stuff, and they were having their conversation. She was so upset about this because when I got back onto Canada soil here, she asked me, "Oh, did you guys do the same thing that we did here?" And I was like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I just drank for 4 days straight." So she was fucking quite livid. She's like,
Oh, really?
"Oh yeah." And she's like, "We were just sitting here fucking crying our faces off, and it turned out that you guys were just drinking your faces off." And I was like, "Yeah, that's how I kind of cooked back then."
Yep. Hey, thanks for the pizza.
It's no.
I'm gonna try this.
It's the Rude Awakening tour that grabbed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Sorry. The other guy, Steve.
Steve, yeah.
Is
Steve
he
Price. He is taking us. I think he's smoking. Yeah. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts, Mike, when you see that you're hearing like different stories, but different persons, or same story but different perspective?
Sorry, I was half reading the comment. Say that again, please. Sorry.
I was saying we're now speaking about the same story, right? But now it's a different perspective. So listening to other people talk about the same story that happened to you, you're like, oh fuck, you saw it that way, or I saw it a little bit different, or
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I think we see it similar in ways, but then, well, actually, like if you're to look, say, like me and Gerard, we took it like 31 years ago is when we took Mefloquine, and you guys took it, say, what's that, 18 years ago, right? But it's what I find partly troubling, kind of, or whatever, is that like it took me 30 years to be where I'm at now, 31 years, with the problems, whatever, recognizing all this stuff, and then to see somebody, you know, with half the time having the same issues, it's kind of fucking
Becoming behind us.
it's heartbreaking.
That's when we have to turn
Thinking.
around and say enough is enough.
Because why didn't we learn anything the first 15 years with Mefloquine, right?
Yeah.
Scott Smith, the guy on my truck, took his life in '94, right?
Yeah.
In Rwanda. So, you know,
Do you feel it's like an onus to be a mentor now about it? Because
To
you're
say-
bringing awareness to it now, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess to say, like, don't. You said it I think, in your interview, just to say, you know, the only person that really cares about your health is going to be you.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
And, you know, they don't really, you know, oh yeah, the book says this will be okay for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So they don't care. But if, you know, it was more on them, they might not, if they read it and knew what the problems were, they might not,
I passed it
yeah. But I mean,
without a real study.
31 years for us to be sitting here, 5 of us saying how fucked up things are, and we're between 10 and 30 years of service, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck, right? Really?
Totally. Like I said, there were some incidences that people lightheartedly said, "Oh, wait for the dream." So you kind of got a little bit of a warning, but not like the longevity of the issue that's going to come and rise. But you know, it's kind of was like almost a missed message there in some
Yeah.
aspects. Right?
And I think sometimes we, in our humor, how we like to make fun of shit sometimes, to lighten the mood, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
Like even talking about the fire, right? Buddy catching fire, and we're laughing. But maybe if we didn't joke and say, "Oh yeah, you'll have fucking crazy nightmares on it," right? If it was kind of said like, "Yeah, you'll have some really messed up dreams."
Yeah,
right?
it's like a more cautionary tale than
Yeah, then, yeah, you'll have a bunch of fucked up dreams. That's it,
yeah.
right? That's
Oh, I
not it.
remember my first spider dream. Hold on. So, look where my sleeping area was. Have your cot set up. You're taking every bit of your fly net and you're tucking it underneath your air mattress. So you sleep right in the middle of your air mattress and you try to go to sleep. It's just freaking cooking inside, okay? You can be right down to your freaking boxer shorts
Oh, thank you, sir.
and you're still sweating to death. So, I must have had this dream that I woke up and I see the spider, and the only thing that was going through my mind is like, I hope the fuck you're on the outside of that bug net, right? And at that very instant, the spider fell on my face, and I woke up, and then I didn't realize that I was still fucking asleep again, and I had little spiders crawling all over my fucking body.
No way.
Oh yeah, all in Technicolor. It was lots of fun.
Inception.
You know, huh?
That movie Inception, a dream within a dream.
Yeah. And I think that's what it was. Like for a lot of people, say Richard Schumann on the W5 was saying how he was dreaming he had shot himself. He seen the hole in the back of his head. Blah blah blah. And then when he came to, he was there with his weapon, right?
Man. Thank God I didn't have a machine gun.
Yeah. And you just, you know, I'll say it makes me mad, the fact that, say after the first murders in 2003 and the Americans then stopping taking Mefloquine, our government continued to push it.
Yeah.
Right? Keep pushing it to the soldiers. 31 years.
Yeah.
A difference between, right? Almost. From when we took it to, well, no, it wouldn't be that. So it'd be from, say, 92 to 2017 is when they stopped giving Mefloquine. So it took you 4 years to realize that the shit you were giving to people was fucking poisoning them.
Well, you know that they obviously probably knew about it. It's almost that attitude, because when they were trying to figure out what prescriptions worked well for my PTSD.
Yeah.
Is that what you're diagnosed with? They were saying, hey, try this, try this. I had to hit a drug, like Cymbalta, and I was puking up like blood.
No.
And what they had told me was that the good outweighed the bad. So they actually know what it fucking, like, the consequences of these. But they have the mindset that the good outweighs the bad. You think it's just cop out, maybe?
Yeah.
Because at the same time, I'm looking at the TV and seeing the same fucking drug on the TV.
So, Gerard, you might want to mention your story too. Because you took Cymbalta, right? Wasn't that what you were talking about?
No, I took Champax.
Oh, Champex, yeah.
Oh,
that
Champax.
fucked
That's,
him up.
that's pretty much Wellbutrin.
Oh no, that made me really fucking squirrely.
Well, is it?
No,
Which are Wellbutrin?
Champax.
Yeah,
No, bad for me.
Yeah. So Champax is, I think, how I remembered it, it's pretty much Wellbutrin.
Okay. I think I did 3 months on Wellbutrin or whatever.
That shit fucks you up.
And it was horrible, man. And I found I had more anger. And when I drank, man.
Oh, yeah. It tells you not to drink on that shit.
Yeah. Some crazy ass stuff.
I did a hockey sock full of drugs.
Yeah.
They literally gave me, I was like, have an addictive personality. They gave me trazodone at
Yeah, had that one.
massive
I still got that one.
Seroquel,
Seroquel, yep.
That one's the
Ma-
worst one.
massive amounts of that. And like, those are the only ones that I can think of off my brain, but I had 5 different prescriptions and then going to the psych nurse. One day I had to go to work. I woke up and I was like every day for the last like year and a half. Woke up, took all the drugs. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I threw them all out, poured them down the sink, poured them down and then went to my psych nurse a week or 2 later. She's like, you can't do that. Too
Just
late.
did.
Too late, baby. I just did.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped going.
And that's how you stop taking all the
Yeah.
meds?
Yeah.
For me, I wanted to do ayahuasca,
Oh, yeah.
which is supposed to help so that you're not supposed to be on any antidepressants or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was kind of winding down, so I got rid of the sleeping pill, and then I was just left on Prestique, antidepressant. But I went to fill my prescription in Alberta because I was going to BC. They didn't have it to fill. They said, okay, you got to get a prescription. So I got her to come back, drop it off. Anyways, they didn't fill my prescription. They only filled the one that I went back, and the one that they wouldn't fill, so they didn't fill any, is the one I had to get a prescription for. And I come back and they only filled the one that and I'm like, fuck you then. I'm not taking my pills no more. So I took off, went to BC. And then 2 weeks later when I came back, I'm like, why bother starting a drug that I want to come off of anyways?
Yeah.
I'm already off it for 2 weeks. Why bother?
I already did.
I'm very
Yeah.
intrigued by that DMT.
Which DMT?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, yeah. No, it's some of them. Well, I mean, like say ketamine for anxiety, for driving and stuff. I couldn't go into Toronto unless it was like after 9 o'clock at night, right? I couldn't handle the traffic at all. I did ketamine on one treatment. It was like Friday afternoon. We're leaving from downtown Toronto at 5
I
at
don't know
night.
how you fucking lived there.
Another
I'm a
guy
Maple
drove and
Leafs
I-
fan,
no
but
problem,
I
man.
wouldn't go to Toronto.
Yeah.
I can't stand driving in fucking Maple Ridge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest,
Somebody's laughing out there. I can hear that.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, say for any driving before, I didn't want to anywhere where there was much traffic or there was right.
Yep.
My biggest fear was that I would do like on the movie Fallen. Was it
Yeah.
Fallen? Where you just
Yeah.
you're in
No,
the
I've
traffic,
already
you put
done
the truck in park and get out and walk away, right?
And then just start smashing people through windows.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't want. I've hated I never really had a problem with driving before, but I certainly can't do it now.
Yeah.
Well, I can, but I like white knuckle it everywhere I go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Seeing that being a turret gunner, you're not in control. So I'd rather drive because I want to be in control.
I know.
Right? Especially when you're talking about like how much dust everything was kicked up. Holy shit, being the rear security.
Oh, I
guard.
know. Iverson was ours, and he just looked like somebody threw a mud pie at him every
Green
day.
face, green
Oh.
face. Yeah,
Like, holy
black,
fuck.
green, fucking greenish black face.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was another thing that's like talking about how things affect you. When I got there, they were like, "Don't open your mouth when you shower." Right, because the water guy
Well,
wasn't there.
washes it in.
Because all the fecal matter
Yeah.
from the canal was in there.
Yeah.
To this day, I can't drink out of a fucking tap, man. Everything has to be bottled.
Hmm.
And I was like, my children ask me, why are you like that? Yeah, I have mental health issues. I tell them.
Because I can't drink shit no more.
Fuck, it makes me gag inside. I'm like, fuck, this is like essential. Water is essential.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Okay, you get enough of it in fruit and food anyway. You're good.
Oh, no,
I really
totally.
didn't care if it was in the water, in the pool. Right?
No,
Remember
me
they said,
neither.
oh, you can't go swimming because of the fecal matter in the water.
Yeah.
Who cares? Let me go swim in the pool, man.
Yeah. It's because it was
That-
different types of parasites that we're not used to.
Yeah.
There was also snakes swimming in the pool.
What?
And the fact that the gentleman blew himself up and we lost our fucking got our water chemical guy.
Yeah.
I can't believe that was. There's some pretty crazy things that actually kind of happened. Discharging firearms by accident inside the truck. I was like, you have a lot of areas that you could point that rifle at. Why the fuck are you doing inside the truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, lessons learned.
Yeah. Karen Crawford had mentioned earlier, just said the trust in government has been destroyed, right?
I would agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
Next question.
No, I totally disagree with that because, you know, they're proving that they don't care what they do with their money. They'll spend it however the fuck they want.
I don't care about the money. They already misspend that in a billion different places. I care that they misspend it with what they're doing with their people.
Yeah.
And not just us.
Yeah.
Everybody in the country.
Yeah.
And you can go at that 1,000 different ways, but I just don't agree with what they're doing with it in the country. And not this government. I know everybody has a fuck Trudeau. I don't give a shit about Trudeau. It didn't start with him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been going on for a fucking long time before him.
Yeah.
He's just a scapegoat lately. Not that I would vote Trudeau either, by the way. Just throwing
Right.
that out there.
I thought I seen a I
Don't
love Trudeau's bumper sticker on your truck, no?
I will smash.
That might be the one I put on it.
Is that
Huh? Nah. We'll skip that.
We're all gonna be careful now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been, you know, thanks to Karen Crawford, Roy Mack, Delta Foxtrot, and Daryl Inkster, and who else? And Just Joe. So thank you all for commenting and giving us questions.
Awesome.
And thanks to you guys for being here, man. Like,
No, there should all those people, if they have an opinion and if they've done it, they should be here.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
My only concern about next election is that the Conservatives are not saying what they'll do for veterans if elected.
nobody's saying anything for veterans?
The only time that we come up in elections is if it's really close and they need to decide. And,
Yeah, then
It's
they'll-
already decided by the time it gets here.
yeah.
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 And Tall Guy 249 said great show tonight. So thanks.
Right on, cheers.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Well, we need some more people to come do this and talk about it. And
yeah.
fucking-
Do some more because like originally we tried to. Well, at first it was like, okay, we'll try to grab people from town,
Yeah.
and then I messaged a few people, like two commando people, and then I was like, I got no response back, and I'm like, oh fuck, they don't want to talk at all, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, move on. Then I'm like calling. I
So
called-
we're your second, third choice?
No, it's the,
fucking telling me?
I'm just telling you how it went down.
I'm hearing you.
Well,
I'm just fucking with you.
me and my fucking big mouth, man. I never shut the fuck up, right?
Tell us how you really think.
Yeah. No, but
Should have just said I tried to get a bunch of people here. They didn't show up, so you guys are. Oh.
no, but say the paranoia of I'm thinking, fuck, nobody wants to, or the two command guys, they don't want to talk because the shit that went on in Somalia. And then I'm like, well, maybe, and then I'm like, well, fuck, Devin I haven't seen him comment back when I said what time to be here. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe he doesn't want to talk about having, different issues. And then it's like, fuck, boom, we're like 5 of us sitting in the room talking about,
I didn't know till an hour before he was
yeah,
like,
and then
hey,
you
man.
showed up here, right? Like, thanks, man. Like,
Well, 100%. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know. And then I was like, I'm not going to lie, though. I did sit down with my old lady for like probably an hour, half hour. And I was like, fuck, do I do this? Do I want to talk about this? And she's like, I think you should. I was like, do you think I should or do you think I should?
yeah.
Kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't you call in? She's like, that's a hard no.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, right?
But even to say go back, nobody. So my first thought was, oh, these guys never fucking got back to me. Nobody wants to talk. So then I fucking go and I work on the next people to come. And then all those guys start fucking answering
So
back.
we're
Hey, I'm coming.
thirsty
No,
now.
no. You're first. You're first. You're first.
Fucking liar.
Yeah. But I mean, our own,
I get it.
my own paranoia. I'm thinking, fuck, nobody wants to talk. Nobody, and then kind of worried about coming and then, getting people together. How do you talk?
100%.
How do you? And then everybody made it easy, right? Not what It was because we're just sitting there having a conversation. Really, is what it amounts to. And then, so like, say if you want to come back then and do an interview, and we sit there and talk about your time and your any issues you might have, we can do that. I'll show you the list of questions, and if you
Are
want
you asking me or are you talking
yeah,
about
no, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All this
I
So-
already said, sorry not to jump in, but I'd love it if you'd come back tomorrow. Carry on the conversation if you're down.
You want him back tomorrow?
I can't get rid of him. He's stuck.
He's like,
Son of a bitch!
maybe if I invite a few of his friends, maybe they'll take him out with them, right? No.
Oh, I know. They're all my brothers. You're just going to stay. I know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so this is Garrison Maple Ridge now?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, this is getting worse!
Yeah.
This is the driver.
I could have swore I saw Mod Tent outside.
With a Herman Nelson.
But really, it's like I
I don't
can't
care.
thank
I'm
you guys.
good. As long as
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here and as long as you're here, I don't give a fuck.
And I
We've
it's
done
all
this
good for
before.
us, right?
We've done this before just with me and you.
Yeah.
Fishing.
Oh yeah.
Cathartic, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
That was cool, man. We went out and I caught like a 6-foot fucking sturgeon or whatever, right? And we stand in the water holding the fucking thing up
Yeah.
because it's huge.
Well, I tried to get that going for vets.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know.
But then you were supposed to move back to Alberta.
Well, no. I
At what
kind of
point?
got... I had my own boat, but I kind of got fucked because we did it with Wounded Warriors, actually.
Yeah.
And we had 4 boats, and it was me and a Marine vet who'd served in Iraq, and we were both captains, and we worked for a company.
Yeah.
And we took out, I don't know, I think it was 3. I think it was 4 per boat, so we took out 8 people, and we were trying to get a thing going for vets where, like, we could just take them fishing.
Yeah.
And then that never really panned out. We took him the first time with Wounded Warriors, but I wanted to get on board with I forget what the name, Soldier On.
Yeah.
I wanted to get on with them, and we had a thing planned, but some government funding and some stuff fell through, and then like I couldn't afford to do it on my own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
Without funding, so then it kind of fell through, but that would be a gig. And like a lot of guys need, as you guys know, I don't need a lot of people to get through my shit personally. I don't need a lot of people to get through other people's shit, but doing some stuff that gets back to like the earth, like hunting, fishing, farming, whatever you want to do, whatever your gig is. I think if you have an outlet to where you can feel comfortable, and if you can do that around like-minded people, then I think that's cathartic, and I think it's golden, and people should do that. Whatever your outlet is, find a way to get it out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're just bottling it up, and it goes bad from there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it comes out when you don't want it to come out.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
At the least opportune time.
Yes.
Oh, in front of the cops. Perfect.
Yeah.
Are those red and blue? I gotta go.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been and it helps to sit there and talk and shoot the shit and to say do you guys do you know the Cracked Armor guy, Mark Long?
I haven't met him yet.
So they're starting a thing called the Returning Warriors Ranch, which is a thing that came out from the States, which is what was that one called? But anyways, it's not like a clinical, right? So it's not doctors and shit. It's like what we're just doing. Five guys sitting there
Shooting the shit,
dealing with shit, bringing stuff out, doing different things, and that's how they do the healing, right? Because how many times I could never pull the pin on going to like Homewood, Bellwood, Edgewood, whichever the fuck one. I couldn't do it because it was like that clinical setting, and somebody else brought it up too to say, you know, then you're with civilians or people that aren't like us, that don't get the way we are, and when we were functioning up here, right, as a soldier, but now we're fucking down here, messed up. Again, it's like, don't fucking, patronize me. Like, we fucking were overseas, we fucking, faced everything, but, so it's not an issue that we didn't have the strength or the whatever to do the job, but
100%, and that's what I think I'm getting at. There is nothing clinical about fishing and hunting except for me, and if you go with me, like, pretty clinical, but you're going with fucking all the assholes that you did something with, or an asshole that you don't even know but you can relate to. He might turn out to be your best buddy, you know what I mean? Like, you don't care. You put 4 asses in a boat for 8 hours for a day or two.
Yeah.
You're going to get to know each other. You got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Or you put them in the bush somewhere. They got nowhere.
I mean, you have a lot of different. There's like the veteran hunter. Yep. You have like lures for vets. You have what's the other fishing one, right? So I mean, there's a lot of programs like that, and there's a lot of programs like that probably because they work more and they bring like-minded individuals together.
That's right, and I agree.
And then you start to share, and then you, if anything, then you're getting most likely another contact of a person that's going to make a difference or be part of your support network.
Or you
Right.
save a person from that is like on the edge and is like, you know what, fuck, man. All I want to do is go fishing.
Yeah.
It changed fishing when I got back. Fishing changed my life, and it doesn't have to be fishing. It could be gardening.
Yeah.
It could be whatever it is. But it changed. Like I went from fucking here to like here,
Yeah.
and was like, okay, this is what I need. This is what I need to do, and this is how I'm gonna make it work. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be fencing, it could be construction, it could be fucking whatever. I don't give a shit what it is. Find out what it is and
go do
it.
Yeah, yeah. And
It's a pretty hard thing though, because when you're in that state, to find a drive to do stuff, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
that's why you lose interest in things that you used to love, right? So I agree with you. So how I boil it down is it's a purpose-driven life. You have to have a purpose, otherwise you don't want to exist, right? And it just kind of falls differently. So you're absolutely right. For you, it's fishing, right? For me, it's self-sustainability. So I do farming and I do other stuff, right?
That's this exactly what I'm saying. It's
totally.
not changing the
Yeah.
fact of. I'm just saying, whatever your gig is, find it out
For sure.
and
And,
do it.
make a difference.
I know it took me fucking 10 years to figure out what I wanted to. And I fished with a kid as my dad. I hunted with him. I did. And it took me a long time. It took me 10 years to figure it out.
Oh, for
but I
sure.
was like, oh yeah, fuck, I used to love that.
Yep.
And then you go do it.
But as I was just saying, the struggle sometimes is actually getting
I
yourself
know,
to
but
do it.
we're also talking about how to get there,
Yeah,
right?
for sure,
So
for
the
sure.
fact of the matter is, you have to. Nobody can figure it out for you,
Oh, totally.
and it ain't easy to do it. But you gotta find a fucking way to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Well,
You're
that's
just
the
gonna
choice,
be a
right? And your will
statistic.
to live and what you find is important. Because, like I said, I stayed in my bed for 2 years,
yeah.
right? Like, I had no drive to do anything. So,
100%.
and like I said, it's so I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying, hey, yeah, you're right. You got to make that choice. It's a tough one, but once you identify that it's hard, then
Oh,
you
it's
can at least
not an
move
easy
forward.
one, and it takes sometimes it takes a way to get there. But
It's a process.
the process. You gotta drive to get there. You gotta drive to get to wherever you want to go. You just have to figure it out. And figuring out, sometimes for some people it's easy. Sometimes for other people it's harder than fuck.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you still have to have the drive to get there, to figure out what you want and what you want to do. One of the smartest things and one of the most touching things, I'm not going to cry, especially on fucking camera. But my dad one time
It's
told
watching
me,
though.
okay.
Go on.
One time my dad told me I wanted to be this and that, and I was a kid. He was like, you know what, Steven? He's like, I don't give a fuck what you do. He's like, you be a doctor or you be a ditch digger. He's like, but I'll love you just the same. And as long as you do as hard as you want to do and do it well, he's like, I don't give a shit what you do. And that, I think I was like, literally like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And that resonates with me today because I'm like, my dad doesn't give a fuck whether I was a doctor or whether I was digging ditches. And both of them legitimately are just as important as the other, because doctors can't work without ditches being dug to their hospitals, their houses, He just said, work hard and be respectable, and that's what you should do. And that's the only thing I've ever tried to do. And today, to this day, it still resonates with me because I think he's right. I think
Yeah.
if you work hard and you do your shit, you mind your P's and Q's, otherwise you get slapped. No offense, Dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
it's the way it is, and sometimes it's hard for people to figure that out, and that's part of the struggle of everyday life. Sometimes shit's hard. And
Yeah.
I think people have lost that aspect in their life that shit's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed every day for some people, but for some people it's hard to lift 300 fucking pounds. I can't lift 300 pounds. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Who am I to fucking judge any of that?
Yeah.
It's just important that you continue to fucking try.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, say for myself, before leaving, like, I lived in the basement, would play my fucking PlayStation game. That's all I did all day. Try to fucking never come out of the basement. People call, you want to go for coffee? No. Want me to bring you one? Sure. Right?
Yeah.
But until you start to push yourself, even to push yourself out the door and go meet that guy for coffee, to push yourself out the door to go watch your son's basketball game or whatever, right? Like, we're past the point of where life is easy now, say for some things, right? So that we have to work for it if we want to still have a decent life, right? Because otherwise I'd never come out of the house, I'd never go down the road, I'd fucking stay here, and that's it.
You gotta fucking buck up. It does. You know what? Guys make $1 million playing fucking video games right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just push yourself to be better and fucking.
Yeah.
But for us, it's different. Like, don't. You can do whatever you want, and it's not unattainable. 100%. It's not unattainable. When I was in the depths of darkness, do you think that I knew that I was going to be fucking fishing guide, have my own boat, have my own house, have my own truck, have my own bike? No.
Yeah.
I had no idea. When I got out of the army, I was like, holy fuck, this is going to be a hard charge.
Yeah.
And that was depravity for me. Like, at the time, it was kind of the worst shit I ever did in my life is when I got out, which is hard to believe because you guys both were there while I was in, but you just make it work. You got no choice. You gotta keep going.
'Cause if you don't, then you just start to spin in your own shit, if you would,
Yeah,
and then next thing you
you're
know,
in
the
deep
There's
shit.
some
the
people that are
fucking
not
fan's
here because of
going.
that.
Huh?
There are some people that aren't here because of that.
There's some of our
Yeah.
friends that aren't
That's
here
what-
because of that.
Yeah.
We've lost enough, or a lot of guys whose names were mentioned tonight aren't here anymore with us because they couldn't beat the demon.
No,
right?
it is his consequences. Yeah, for sure.
That's right.
Mhm.
And I'm in the true thought that, and I'm okay with it, I'm uneasy with it, but it might never go away. I don't think it's ever going away. But it's not what I do, it's how I deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a very clear difference there. As long as you're dealing like a normal human being with it, I think you'll be fine. And as long as your depravity doesn't sink so low that it gets inside your head and you do stupid shit,
Yeah.
you'll always be able to recover.
Yeah.
And you will be able to recover, and it's shit like this that helps you recover.
Yeah.
As far as
You got to take the step. You got to step forward or walk out, right? If you're waiting at home for the fucking shit to pass for you to get better, you're gonna be waiting all the time, right?
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. Push yourself out.
I'm
the
out
door.
on the highway for a ship,
Yeah.
and that is never gonna happen. But shit like this that helps. It's maybe, what does everybody microdose now? What do they call that? Microdosing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is a microdose to your next step to try a little bit harder think about it. Just get the thought process moving, and then go from there. Take the next step, take the next step, take the next step.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out. And you can only figure it out on your own. It's not like this feels like a support group, but he's not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
You just get the feeling like you'll be able to do it. And as soon as you get that feeling, you're fucking unstoppable, man.
I'm very always open. I always tell people what works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But hey, at least I'm giving you an option to try it out if you want to.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're telling somebody else an option that you use that is improved your life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right? Because you lead by example. So
Yeah.
if you're going to, you have to have some substance with your words you're saying. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to have some growth in that. Because it's kind of hard when you give advice or situations and then you fall apart. Because that person you're trying to help is looking at you going, holy shit, if it can happen to him, it's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important. Like I said, I'm far enough on my journey where I'm okay to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? And be very honest and open about it. Because like I said, at the beginning, it was a lot of shame.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Well, I think there's a lot of shame around anywhere, but at any point of the journey, if you feel like you want to talk about it, start there.
Yeah.
Start now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Are you in fucking moccasins?
Yeah, more or less, kind of my slippers. The only thing I'm missing is a pipe. Well, I don't know.
And if
I
you're
got
gonna
my
get
slippers and my
moccasins,
pipe.
get higher ones. They're way more comfortable and they're way warmer. Keep your ankles warm.
Yeah. Yeah. But it, I still find it kind of surreal that here we are all sitting there,
Yeah.
talking from the heart, as because when did we do that before?
Never.
Right?
Yeah,
Never sat down, and I think, and that's part of becoming comfortable with what your problem is now, or like knowing that no, man, this is me, right?
Yeah.
That's how I am. This is me, right? I've got issues,
Take them or leave them.
Right? So,
100%. And I was done with that aspect of my life years ago, thinking about what anybody thought of me. I don't care.
yeah, no, it doesn't really matter, right? Because,
What do I think of you? If you think that of what I think of you, how
yeah,
does it affect their life? It doesn't affect them probably at all.
yeah,
So why does their opinion of them affect me?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
and am I living my life for me, or am I living my life for you?
That's right. That's
Right.
part of it, right?
So, if
Go fuck yourself.
Being
Why don't I
younger,
do
it's
what
hard
makes
to
me happy?
differentiate that, right?
What's that?
As you're younger, you're always trying to prove something. Like for us, we're getting up. We're the guys that have
Ooh,
experience.
easy,
shit,
easy.
Right?
I'm not up there that far, is what he's saying. Not
Yeah.
that two old fucks on the ends, but
But that's it, right? Like you guys experience stuff, so now you're sitting there going, "Hey, I'm okay because it doesn't matter anymore."
yeah,
Right? You find what's really important and what's critical, right? What's worth it working on and what's not.
yeah,
Right? That's something
That's a
that
journey,
honestly,
man.
yeah. Well, being a
That's a journey.
farmer, that's pretty much it. You're always in crisis. You're trying to fucking put it in an emergency, and then eventually you get wise enough. You're like, some things are okay to burn, right? Just let it fucking burn
yeah,
and focus on the things that matter.
Yeah.
Right, and that just comes with experience and age.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, wisdom comes with experience and age, but what's been like, especially for these two, can I say assholes?
Yeah.
Assholes. Is that they were a lot harder chargers than we were, and then that's the generational gap that I was talking about earlier. Harder chargers, it just seems, the pool seems to get less and less as you go down, but it doesn't have to be that way because everybody interprets their experience different.
Yeah.
And it's not that fucking big of a deal.
Yeah.
And who are we to judge?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck?
Why
are
should
you?
we judge each other? What's the
That's
point,
right.
right? What
Most
will
of
it
it's-
benefit Cam if I judge him, right?
Well, most of it is situations that we weren't even in control of. So your guys say you're saying they hit it harder. Well, that's because our leadership was like, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Well, they were our leadership. They
Well,
told
prior,
us that.
yeah,
But as policy changes, you get a little bit more restrained.
yeah,
Right.
things change, right?
Yeah,
Say there,
for sure.
so there's not a Canadian Airborne Regiment now, and when there was a Canadian Airborne Regiment, there wasn't a CSOR and there wasn't a JTF2,
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
exactly.
Well,
Like
if
prior
there,
to them
if
firing
there
up,
was
but
still
I
an
mean-
airborne regiment, they wouldn't need those ones.
Yeah. But now even you look all the armies. So like say when we went to Somalia, they sent all the paratroopers there, right? German Fallschirmjägers were there, Italian Folgori, Italian paratroopers, all of it, right? And
French
then now
Legion.
you have your
Stop
CSOR,
saying that.
your JTF2, and all those units, right?
Well,
So,
that's my.
yeah.
Do you want to talk about a few bad apples don't ruin the whole damn bunch? Otherwise, we wouldn't have an army. Period.
Yeah, right? Because it's just a reflection of society, partly, right? That you know,
a couple of
a lot of the same things that you see in society are the same things you see in the military or whatever.
I think this society's just a bigger military.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well, we're democratic, so our army's democratic, so we have to worry about what the public eye, because the court of opinion matters, right? So if you even talk about our tour and where we had to wear those silly tack vests that did nothing for us, but it was optics.
Yeah, it was all for optics.
It was all
Yeah.
for optics.
God, we're using vintage Vietnam friggin' radios right up to what, 2003?
Yeah,
I can tell you, my sidearm had no use.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It had absolutely no use.
But it's funny how, but you brought up on the pistol, right? How the pistol was more effective to get people
Oh,
to
yeah.
back off than the machine gun.
Yeah.
Because they
Because
see
you
machine
said it.
guns every
That's what I was
day.
gonna say. It's exposure on that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you said you said it, and Devin said it too.
Yeah. Well, as a turret gunner, what's the point of fucking pointing a C6 anymore? Like once I pulled out that 9mm and started, it becomes more personal, right? And I think they interpret it as being more personal. But
Yeah.
they've been, how many armies have gone through there? They have AKs in their fucking faces.
Well, they've been
AKs.
doing it since Alexander the fucking Great, and nobody
Yeah.
did it. Why did we think it was a great idea? I don't know. Throw that one out to the crowd.
The British failed. The Soviets failed. Let's go in and do it ourselves, right? And it's almost funny.
Americans fail.
I did a French course in Saint Jean, Quebec.
I think we all did.
I did the course in '95, right? And on the course, there was I think 4 Ukrainian army officers, right? And they were all they were on I think maybe they were for 6 months or a year, maybe. But and this is in '95. They're telling us how they were telling me about their time in Afghanistan, and then fast forward 10 years later, we're in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And doing the same fucking, what the fuck for?
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah,
What happens in Afghanistan now?
right? That's,
China got their mineral rights.
Huh?
And they got a new fucking fleet.
The
of
point
Humvees
is,
and fucking-
what-
oh, they got
the-
they got the
My
third
point
largest
is not
army now.
about the mineral rights. It's
Come on,
about
peas. Some Blackhawks.
Well,
the
no, it's-
unrest
Shitload of
in
M6s.
Afghanistan is not going to
always
change.
happened because, like I said, we are resource-driven people.
Yeah,
The
Right.
human race is resource
That's what I said.
driven.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, it doesn't matter who you are, you're resource based because you have no choice. You need them to survive, right?
Well, you get to control everything if you have everything. That's why it's best about being. the
That's
biggest
why
person
wars
of
were
all.
built. That and religion.
yeah.
So, and you're
Fact.
seeing shifts in power today because
Hmm?
of it.
What's that?
I see you're seeing shifts in power today because of it. Right?
Yeah. But I figure it's been we've been at this for 3.5 hours now,
Probably, yeah.
But
and it doesn't even seem like that, right? Like it seems like a half an hour.
Yeah.
It's,
I'd say a little bit longer than half an hour, but
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, it's you know,
yeah. But
It's
having a
cathartic.
conversation. Yeah.
huh?
it's cathartic for
Yeah, yeah.
everybody, I think.
Yeah, and I, you know, it's almost it's been relaxing just sitting here talking. Right, the mics are above us, the cameras are back. There's nothing. We're just it's like
Sitting around shooting the shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been nice. So, you know, thanks, man.
Thanks for
For
having
coming,
me.
man. Thanks, man.
It's good seeing you, Brent.
You too, brother. Be good. I'm not done yet.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it is a pleasure.
All right. Well, and then so we'll.
Peace out.
Say
Peace
bye
out.
to everyone in TV land.
What do you think?
Huh? Well, I'm not in TV land or something.
Say goodbye to all your fans.
Oh, see everybody. Or maybe I'll look in the camera instead of.
How many cameras are there here? Peace out.
Yeah. So, but I mean that. Once again, at first it was like, okay, how are we gonna get it moving, and then it's like, how do we stop it?
Yeah.
Right, because everybody's just